Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, the man that I love as much as a straight man can love another man, Chris Becker. What? I don't know. My wife told me to say that before we got on here, and so I decided to say it. So now here we are.
Wait, I didn't tell you to say that.
I said my wife. Are you my wife?
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she said, hey, say that. I was like, okay, I'll say it. I'll say it. During Pride Month, CC Wire says. Oh, man. Welcome in, everybody. Man, it's been a week. We are
Pride Month.
It's been
Yeah. Please.
Listen, it's been the craziest week though. Like with the Switch 2 launching and all the games and everything else that's been going on, and we've had like tons of content going on our channel too. It's been crazy. How have you been? How have you been?
Oh, I've been great. Thank you for asking.
Anytime.
You know, never better. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something.
What were you gonna say?
I was freaking out because my head was all over the place. Did you see the thing I sent you about the recall on Dr. Pepper?
I did, but it's only on the zero sugar kind. It's not on the strawberries and cream zero sugar kind, so I'm safe.
Oh, no. Is it from the same place?
I don't know. I'm not going to stop drinking it. The reason they recalled it was because it had full sugar instead of the opposite, zero sugar. I'm not going to. That's not going to stop. I would know if it had full sugar in it. It would taste awful. Like, it's so bad. Susie in the live chat, if Dr. Pepper kills me, it kills me. That's dang straight. That's so right. Oh my gosh.
That's what the doctor ordered. Let me just tell you something.
Tell me something.
I'm trying to figure something out, and I couldn't figure it out. And then there was something happened right before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
I got a text message.
Yeah.
From Flynn, which we'll talk about it later. But the thing I'm trying to do is this. Okay, I was trying to stream this to TikTok, and you know what? I couldn't do it because in order to stream it to TikTok, I would have to have the stream live.
Yeah.
Or the sound on.
Oh,
so then
yeah,
I would
yeah.
be hearing you and me back to back after hearing you. I tried to do it during the intro, and I couldn't differentiate who was you then and who was you now, and it was throwing me off, and I had to. And then you said something about wanting to make out with me.
I did not say anything about making out with you.
That's all I could hear.
I mean, if you wanna, just let me know. We'll show up. We'll meet somewhere in the middle between Pittsburgh and bum nowhere, Kentucky. So, oh man,
that's true.
Listen, I posted a post over in the Discord the other day, and I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna read it here because I feel like most people are gonna actually hear it here, and it was important to me. I was like, I wanted to call this out, and what I posted was a goodbye to the Switch 1 era. Man, this past year and a half has been quite the ride, and we've come a long way from our first podcast here at Nintendo Rewind. Chris and I are so excited for what Nintendo has in store for us for this next coming months. And we're glad to have finally made it out of the Nintendo News Dark Ages as a show, because there were so many episodes this past year and a half that we kind of just had to make up stuff to talk about because honestly, Nintendo wasn't really giving us anything. And we're kind of in that that like in between phase in some ways where it's like we're still coming out of Switch 1 era. And a lot of developers haven't really said, hey, we've got this coming out on Switch 2 just yet. We're still waiting for that, but that's okay. We are out of the dark ages. We have a lot to talk about still yet. So much planned for today. But I want to extend a big thanks to Josh Taylor for helping me get this show off the ground. And even though he's had to take a step back, I want him to know that we're rooting for him in life. R.I.P. Josh. And I also want to thank Chris for coming on board. Thank you.
R.I.P. Chris.
No, not yet. I also want to thank Chris for coming on board when he did. Honestly, if he hadn't have came onto the show, I don't think I would have stuck this one out as long as I did. And I also want to thank all of you guys, all of you, the viewers on YouTube and on Twitch and everywhere else that we post content, for coming and watching the show every week. Because if you didn't, I'd be asking a lot of questions like, why am I even doing this? For those interested, also, I wanted to highlight some stats for you guys that I think are cool to us. But maybe not to the general viewer, but to the people who show up here every week, I think it's interesting. On Twitch, our top 3 countries that watch are United States, at 92% of our audience are from the US. Canada, 4% of our audience. Shout outs to Kiatic. I know Kiatic and Mnemonic Man make up some of that 4%. And we have 1% of people over in Australia. We're popular in Australia. Look at us go. Look at us go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Most of you watch on the iOS app at 52%, and then 31% of you guys watch on the web. 13% of you guys are green text people on Android. Big shout outs to these 3 channels, Calamity Nolan, Jabroni_Mike, and Commodore Zed. They are our top channel suggesters. So people who watch them, they recommend us from their channels pretty often. And I don't know how. It's automated, it's algorithmic. Sometimes it's from raids. Nolan is one of the people who reliably raid us pretty much every Tuesday night. And I want to thank them for bringing their communities over to come and hang out with us. 80% of our views are direct, while 9% of those come from our website and an extra 5% are from Facebook. And then our most watched episode was last week's episode with our launch day buyer's guide for the Nintendo Switch 2, episode 73 with nearly 2,800 minutes watched. What did you have to say, Chris, before I move into the YouTube stats?
I just wanted to thank you. I mean, I'm glad you were able to bring some diversity to the show. You went from another white guy co-host to another white guy co-host. So I'm glad you were able to get that, get that statistic going. And I just wanted to say, we're out here living, okay? Go ahead and say those YouTube stats.
Okay, we out here living. YouTube stats, for all of you guys who are out there watching on YouTube live, first off, don't forget to leave a like. Your likes mean everything to the algorithm to get us going, but 89% of you that identify as male are I can't get my words out. I said R 4 times.
A pirate.
R. 89% of you guys that identify as male need to hit that like button, and the other 11% who identify as female need to hit that like button, and then that 1% left that don't have it designated or specified also need to hit that like button. What's a YouTube, says Susie. Our highest age demographic is 25 to 34 years of age, younger than either of us. We're both olds for those people out there. So thank you for watching us and sticking out with us. 18 to 24 is our second age demographic at 27.7%, and 25 to 44 is our third most highest age demographic with 24.4%. 53% of you listen from the US. The UK takes second at 2.8, and Canada's at 2.5. So there's a pretty big spread there on the back, 47%. 37.8% of you listen to us on your phones, while 30.2% are on PC. And our best video on YouTube is the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom review at 3.5k views. And then finally, I just want to say a huge, gigantic thank you. I know we're about to do this anyway, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it again right now. To Calamity Nolan, CR Christian, Kiatic, and Shiny Bird for supporting the show this past year as our producers and supporters. We were able to snag a couple of controllers with those funds, and you should be on the lookout for a Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition review soon. Your support means the world to us, and we greatly appreciate it. And to our subscribers this past year on Twitch, your added support is also important and goes a long way. Thank you for watching, sharing, and chatting as we do this show. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of the production on this show. That being said, we have a crazy topic today, and it's the Switch 2 launch day. We've been 5 days away from it, and I've gotten a chance to play a lot of games. But before we dive in, Chris, how the heck are you right now? Besides flipping out about things that are going on the internet and trying to get the podcast running on TikTok.
I still couldn't figure it out. I don't know how to do it. How
okay.
the heck do I do it? Here's what I figured out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did not jam my finger this week. Do you like the smell of watermelon? Let me ask you that.
Okay. Yes, I do like the smell of watermelon.
Okay.
Pretty good. Do you not like the smell of watermelon?
No, I like this. I like the smell of watermelon. I like the taste of 40 to 45% of the watermelon I put in my mouth. Cornrows, she jammed her finger.
I need that as a sound alert on my channel where it's just you breathing in deeply before you go, I like the smell of watermelon. So I'm just gonna clip this and put it on my channel. It's gonna be great. Yeah. When you walk in,
just watermelon.
First words, it's gonna play that sound every time you come by.
Every time I say something.
Every time you come for the first time over to my stream, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Oh,
listen,
man.
Just be nice to people out there. If you're gonna leave a comment, leave a nice comment, or don't leave a comment at all. You don't need to be mean, right? Do you like a banana Laffy Taffies? Because I know I do.
I love a banana Laffy Taffy. It's my favorite flavor of Laffy Taffy. It's top tier flavor. I would say it goes banana Laffy Taffy, vanilla Laffy Taffy, and then maybe strawberry Laffy Taffy in my tier list. That's my tier list. Top 3.
Pardon? Wait, I zoned out. What'd you say?
Banana, vanilla, strawberry.
Banana, vanilla.
Yeah.
Don't. Hold on.
What? I'm not holding on.
Vanilla?
Well, maybe sorry, my apologies. Sea salt taffy. And this is the flavor. Sorry, I'm gonna bring that over into the Laffy Taffy discussion. Susie says sometimes I think Chris spends an hour every week sitting on the toilet brainstorming what bizarre non sequitur he's gonna burst out on this week.
Just for the record, I don't put any thought into this. Then
that's clear. Jesus.
Second of all, you saying the thing about the vanilla Laffy Taffy is like your sister saying that vanilla is like chocolate. It's like she says
it's nothing like
she
chocolate.
said something ridiculous about vanilla being chocolate. What did she say? Hold on, let me call her.
Well,
hold on. We're gonna get her. No, we're gonna get her on the phone. Hold on.
Okay, I'm waiting. We're waiting. We're gonna see if we can hear her. She's gonna be called live right now. We're eventually going to get to the topic. I promise, chat. I promise. We're eventually going to get to this topic.
Hello.
Hello. Turn down the thing if if you have it on. Listen, what?
She has it on. I hear it in the background.
Okay, you had it on. You're not going to be able to hear him, but you can hear me. What was the ridiculous thing you said about vanilla and chocolate?
Well, I remember saying it wasn't vanilla and chocolate. It was what was it? It was.
You were like, chocolate is just vanilla.
I did not say that.
It's like a.
It was oh crud! What did I say? Either way, I was correct.
You were not correct. You said. Hold on, it might be in the lore. Let me. You said it was the most ridiculous thing. It was about chocolate.
Was it white chocolate?
Yes.
Was the same as vanilla?
Yes, white chocolate was the same as vanilla, is what you said.
I mean,
that's a little more accurate than vanilla being chocolate.
Correct.
Listen, I'm not. Okay, a couple of things. One, that is hot dogs. DAWG. White chocolate is not vanilla, and you and your brother are saying the same thing.
What, he thinks that it is the same?
He said it's more accurate, but he is wrong.
Okay.
Well,
so are you. That was a little aggressive.
Well, you know what else? Okay. Hey, Hey, chat, if you can hear me.
Yeah, they
Do
can hear
you
you.
guys think that airheads burn your throat when you eat them?
Oh, there we go. Listen, it's like eating sand.
He says it's like eating sand, which it might be. It's not like eating.
They're
it's
tangy.
like,
They're tangy, and they have. They're not Laffy Taffy texture.
Okay,
they
well-
have a
Wait
tangy.
a second, Trent.
Listen, now chat's revolting.
Chat is revolting. Nobody knows what you're talking about, and white chocolate has vanilla in it.
Well, airheads aren't good, but oh.
Cody and Cece are weird, is what I mean.
Okay, well maybe it's because we share genetics, but
That's
the
true.
boys also said they
I
don't
can no
think
longer
it
hear
burns
her.
either, so maybe we're just weirdos.
What you can no longer hear her.
Yeah, you held her away from the mic too long. I couldn't
you
hear
hear
her
it?
anymore. I hear her
you-
now.
Okay, well listen.
Okay,
you
y'all have a good stream, and press the bananas and thank me again.
press the bananas and thank her, and what happened?
Bananas.
Yeah, when we go to the main topic, all the bananas shoot all over the screen.
Oh yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye. When you
Bye.
when you couldn't hear her when I moved her away for a second, she was saying that your genetics were so weird and that she blamed Sue.
Oh.
What?
Shout out, Mom. Shout out to Mom. Oh my God.
Shout out to Sue Christian. She
Oh,
she
man.
might have said something along the lines.
Yeah, I'm following it. She's yelling, I did not say that in the live chat. My mom, shout out to Mom if you're out
There's
there
no
watching and
record.
listening. She's
There's
Mom.
no record of that.
There's not. No one can deny or confirm except you, and you're
Sue-
you're no.
Sue,
you're no
Cody and I
falsehood
love
fibber.
you. Sue.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about in today's episode about the Switch 2, how we feel about the system, how we feel about all the accessories, how we feel about the games. We're going to dive into this main topic. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you again to our producers for producing this show. We're going to do this. We're doing it, Christopher. We are currently 5 days separated from the launch day of Nintendo Switch 2, and oh my God, what an absolutely amazing past 5 days it has been. So just for full on clarity's sake, I am the one who has a Switch 2 between the two of us right now. Chris, you have stuff going on. What do you want to tell the people about the Switch 2? What do you want to tell the people about?
Thanks for the great segue.
I couldn't think of what to say. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm not out here talking your business. You tell the people. I feel like.
What do I want to tell people about?
So Chris, what do you want to tell the people? He just really loves Switch 1. He's like, I'm not upgrading to that.
Right, yeah, I'm just a real Switch Lite user now.
Oh man.
I'm boycotting the Switch 2 until the Switch 2 Lite comes out. No, I've just been sick, so I haven't gotten it because I've been getting doctors and surgeries and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and
Yeah.
fluffernutters. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been eating those fluffernutters, man. The fluffernutters are life. That's 100% true. I think fluffernutters are life. But yeah, for the time being, everybody be on the lookout for Chris snagging a Switch 2. He does have a Switch 2 Pro controller in
That's true. I do.
preparation for the Switch 2. So he'll be ready to go. But as we do this episode,
What?
it's going to be one of those things where Chris is going to be asking me quite a few questions about stuff and about how I felt about things, about how about what I think about the system. A fluffernutter, by the way, for those, I think these
Yeah.
exist in Canada too. It's not limited to just America. It's marshmallow fluff and peanut butter put between two pieces of bread, and it's a fluffernutter sandwich.
Yeah.
That's not just an American thing. Those Canadians probably have it too. But
It's kind of like the white chocolate version of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, according
Yeah,
to Sierra. I would
vanilla,
imagine.
vanilla
Yeah.
and white chocolate. It's the same thing. Oh man, but let me tell you about my launch day, Chris. It was like waking up to Christmas. I got up. I looked to see if the delivery had happened. I opened up my door. I look outside on my doorstep, and sitting on my doorstep is a bag from Walmart. It's bagged.
What time in the morning did you check?
This is like 9 a.m. And it was there sitting on my doorstep for like 40 minutes before I noticed that they'd been there.
Oh, you didn't even get like an email notification?
I mean, Courtney's got the Walmart app, and they notified her, but we were still like kind of just sleeping. Like we were still sleeping. I know. Look, it's 9 o'clock. A grown man needs to be getting up on a weekday. Blah blah blah. Get out of here with your nonsense. I stay up late. Get up late. But that being said, I got up, opened up my door. Looked outside. Sitting on my doorstep was a bag from Walmart, and then a second bag from Walmart that said "Thank you so much" is what it said on it. And then inside of the second bag, because I could see what was in that, was a can of pizza flavored Pringles and a Coke that was marked for Evan. So I'm Evan now. I get to be Evan now.
You look like an Evan. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. I think. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Shout outs to Evans out there.
You look like my friend Evan Constant. You can bleep out his last name, but
I can't. We're live. I can't bleep out his last name.
Then. It's fine. Shout out to Evan. Yeah. Evan is the one that I called and left that voicemail on, where I was just like, I left him a voicemail and I was like, hey, it's me. You know who it is. And then in case it's not you and I got the wrong number, if I sound like someone you might want to talk to, go ahead, give me a call back.
Better than the last time that I left a voicemail on some random friend's phone number and then didn't say who I was.
You did say who you were.
Oh, that's the worst part. Yeah, that's the worst part. I said who I was. But that's a story for a different time. Maybe that's supporter content right there. But I pulled the bag in, walked to my room, ripped that puppy open. Not the one with the Pringles and the Coke in it. I couldn't give two craps about that. I'm talking about the other bag that had the thing that I've been waiting months for, that we've done an episode for recently, that we've lived for. And in that was the Switch 2 Mario Kart World. Let me ask
you this.
Bundle. Ask away.
Before you ate any of those Pringles, have you ever had the pizza Pringles before that day?
No, and I didn't have but one later that evening after I finished up streaming, because
How do you feel about Pringles?
I like Pringles. I hate artificial pizza flavor, but that Pringles...
Oh, that's right. You don't like pizza.
No, I like pizza. I like pizza. People misconstrue the fact that I have an assumption of pizza that we're not going to get into. We don't have time for that here. We've got too much to talk about.
Okay. All right.
Don't out me like that. Put me out on Main Street. But no, I opened it up. Inside the box was the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World Bundle, and my life has not been the same ever since. It's been 5 days of just nonstop Nintendo Switch 2 action, and most of it has been spent in Mario Kart World. That's not a bad thing by any means. That game is phenomenal, and for anyone who did not get that or is not getting it just out of the stance that Mario Kart should not be $80, reevaluate yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's tons of fun, and I've had a really, really great time with it. And I do have some thoughts about it that I'll share a little bit later on, but I've gotten to play quite a few different games on it. I've gotten to experience quite a few different things on it with the Pro Controller and the camera. And overall, I've had a really, really good time. That being said,
let me ask you.
Yeah, go for it.
I got another question.
Okay. Ask away.
Mario Kart. Was it already in the system and you had to log in to play it, or was it code in the box?
It was code in a box, which is
because some systems had code in a box with the Mario Kart logo was a label on the box, and then other people had Mario Kart on the system when you turned it on, and it was on.
I have my
on
box.
there like that, right? And so it was kind of like, I saw some people were speculating that what happened was they made a bunch of Mario Kart bundles, and then it was selling so well that they were like, let's get more Mario Kart bundles, and they put labels on some of the boxes that were going to be the regular Switch, and then just threw a code in there. What do you think?
I don't know what to think, because I thought the box was supposed to look different than this. I thought it was supposed to have like a Mario Kart design actually printed on the box.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, because that wasn't supposed to be a sticker.
Right, and mine came with the sticker. So mine had the sticker but it did on the inside of the box, which is just, I mean, it's a super compact, tiny box. But inside the box, listen to the ASMR of opening a Switch 2 box. It's already out of here. So, inside the box, it was underneath like this area here. The code's already been used, so no worries. I don't care. I'll show my handiwork. But anyway, it had a piece of paper. And it was just a code on a sheet of paper that was kind of tucked away. And Kiatic in the live chat, she mentioned that she had to look up a YouTube video on where the code was in the box because she couldn't find it, because it's not in a very obvious place. You have to flip that over.
A number of people couldn't find it right away.
Yep.
But yeah.
But I don't know if I feel like that's exactly what they chose to do. If they chose to do the sticker on the box and include a code with it quite like that and do something different, I almost think that it was a cost cutting measure more than anything, because you're manufacturing 2 sets of boxes where you can just kind of cut your losses, where they were already anticipating having to deal with tariffs. They can kind of cut some of the cost.
Ship from somewhere else.
Yeah, they can cut some of the cost and just ship a standard box, slap a label and a pamphlet in it, and just kind of be done with it. That's what I think happened more than anything. I don't think it was to get more of them out, because at that point, like, I feel like Nintendo would know that that game was going to be popular. They would know that bundle, because of the $30 discount you're getting on Mario Kart World, would be the most optimal way to go, and a lot more people would be interested in that bundle, most likely, instead of spending full $80 on Mario Kart. So why would they take the loss to make more of those bundles when they could just sell just the standard one, if that was the case? So I think it was just a cost-cutting measure, and the units they had planned to be the bundles were what they just went ahead and shipped to the US, which most stores had more of those bundles than they had of standard Nintendo Switches anyway. Nintendo Switch 2s, rather.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's true.
Oh man, but no, it was absolutely crazy. I really love the system. I've got some thoughts to share on the system as far as that goes. It is so sleek. It feels really good in the hands. The real estate on it is phenomenal. My favorite thing to do on this dang thing is just kind of release the Joy-Con and snap them back in. It's so joyous and just satisfying. And these things, like, legit are stuck on there. Like, you really have to put a lot of force to be able to pull the Joy-Cons off, which kind of surprised me, because I didn't anticipate magnets. I mean, yes, magnets are strong, but I didn't anticipate those magnets to be that strong, because you've got so many electronics and screens right nearby. It was just kind of a big surprise out of how strong the Joy-Cons themselves are.
What about how about, like, in terms of, like, when you're playing in handheld mode? I noticed when I played in handheld mode, my finger would be resting on L and R, but sometimes if I were to go to push down on one of the triggers, it would still be, like, kind of on the L and R button, or would be getting pushed by accident.
So my fingers naturally rest on the main like ZL/ZR buttons most of the time,
Yeah.
but I do feel like my first knuckle on my index finger does kind of rest on the L and R buttons, but I've never really had input issues from that. And the size of this also does kind of exacerbate that. Like on Switch 1, I didn't really have that much of an issue, like resting my knuckles on the L and R buttons. And these kind of come so far down the side to be used for mouse mode at a later date, you know, whenever you get a game that actually functionally has it in it beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour and Cyberpunk. And Fortnite to an extent, but I understand why those buttons come down as far as they do, but I don't really have the input issues that are described there. I feel like that's pretty good. The thing that I do like about it, because they did make the triggers feel a little bit bigger than they did on Switch 1, and the L and R buttons also feel a little bit bigger, but with that extra real estate, the thumbsticks are a lot bigger and they feel a lot better. There's more of a roundness on them, and they kind of keep your thumbs on it. Where I noticed when I was playing a lot of stuff on Switch 1, my thumbs would tend to slide off, or I'd be trying to find real estate for a comfortable place to put my thumbs. These are more of a standard size thumbstick in terms of diameter around. So they're a little bit better, and also the face buttons, the D-pad 4 buttons, and the A, B, X, and Y buttons are bigger too. So they're a lot easier to hit, especially if you're not really paying a lot of attention to where your thumbs are, if you have your thumbs on the right joystick too.
Oh, and what about transferring the system, anything over from Switch 1 to Switch 2? How was that?
I didn't do any of it. And partly because the system transfer that they offered on there was literally only saves, for the most part. Like I already had 2 Nintendo Switches. One of them had the majority of my virtual game cards associated with it, so I just desynced that one with my account, because you can have 2. I desynced that one with my account and made the Switch 2 the new primary for that. But when you do the system transfer, for the most part, all it really did was your save data. And all of that's already backed up to the cloud. And I'm not installing every single game directly onto here right now, especially where I don't have the expanded memory. All I've got is the 256 gigs of internal memory that's already represented there. And I was like, I can download the save data on a per game basis. It always gives you a notification if you're playing on one Switch that doesn't have the right save data or the most recent backed up save data on the cloud anyway. So I'm not like super worried about getting that, and save data downloads so fast.
That's true. Yeah. I guess the only one you would have needed it for would have been, I'm trying to think.
Animal
Splatoon
Crossing.
2 and Animal Crossing do not have cloud saves.
Nope. And I think Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
I think, and I may have lost my Pokemon now that I think about that.
I can't remember if you might be able to transfer it through the Pokemon, whatever the name of that
Pokemon
Home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I didn't do any of that, which I'm not super stressed about. I will be revisiting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on this system because it did get an upgrade. But I didn't really check out much of those older games just yet because I've been too busy with all the new stuff that's came out.
That's true. Yeah. There's a lot that came, a lot to like take in and check out, and there's only so much time in each and every day. Absolutely.
Which, that kind of does bring me to the next main portion of this topic. I've played quite a few games. And, I kind of go through these a little bit one by one, give my overall general thoughts. And then if you got questions, feel free to ask them. And then also live chat. If anyone in the live chat has questions, also don't hesitate to ask. But Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition was a game that I was a little bit hesitant to buy because I know it's a little bit on the longer side, and I don't do well with open world games. I get choice paralysis because it's like I have a million different things that I could do. And then do I really want to invest in a second life essentially to be able to complete that? And most of the time I'm like, nah, I'm passive on it. But Cyberpunk intrigued me mainly because of how good that game looked in the teasers that they had done and the creator's voice that they had shared and everything else that they talked about. And it kind of blew me away that we're going from Switch 1, which could have never in its life ever dreamed of running Cyberpunk 2077, to Switch 2, where I would argue, now granted, I only played the launch version on Xbox Series X, and that's the last time I played it, and I put it straight back down. But I think this might be the best place to play it, like legitimately. And it surprises me to say that because for the longest time on this show, when we're talking about indie games that are coming out, we're constantly like, don't buy it on Switch though. If you can, buy it somewhere else, like experience it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, but it's crazy to me that game runs as good as it does. And those teasers, everything absolutely was not inflated or anything like that. It's kind of crazy at how good that runs. And granted, I've only spent about 3 hours into it. I've done a couple of side missions. I went and talked to this lady at Lizzie's bar. I got a brain dance done. If you haven't played the game, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have played the game, you know about where I'm at this point. 3 hours in on it. And that game runs pretty dang cool. But I will say, I remember I was trying it out. You and my sister were on the phone talking, and I had a lot of graphical glitches.
Who was on the phone?
You and my sister were on the phone.
Oh, right. This weekend.
Yeah.
Where you were playing that.
Yep. And I had a lot of graphical glitches at the beginning that were kind of weird me out. I don't know if it was supposed to be intentional, because later on there was like a dialogue line that was like, have you been having like weird reactions to bright lights? And I was noticing when lights were happening, that's when most of the time I was seeing these graphical glitches. But I took screen captures of them and I sent them to you, and they were pretty rough. And maybe live chat can tell me if this is the way that it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm gonna pull it up just to kind of show. Let me pull this up here, and I'll kind of show you guys what I was getting. And it happened pretty close to like 20 seconds in on this. And this is running in quality mode or performance mode, not quality mode. This was running in performance mode. And I was getting all of these weird graphical glitches. I don't think that was supposed to be happening. I really don't. You really noticeable at the 20-second mark. I don't think that was supposed to happen, but I could be wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. Who knows? Who knows? Do you know, Chris?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Did you try playing it in third person?
I didn't even know there was an option. So no.
Oh, I know. It's only an option when you're driving, right?
Okay, yeah. I did do third-person driving, but not third-person riding or walking around. Again, I don't know if that's an option.
Only in first person, yeah.
But I bumped it up from the performance mode to the quality mode, where you get the higher resolutions and the higher frame rates, better shadows. And immediately, all of those graphical glitches stopped. So it was weird to me that the quality version was having that issue. Or my apologies, the performance version was having that issue. And then quality, which I thought would cause more of a demand on the system, did not cause that issue. It looks like that flashing is a problem the game has even on PC, though, apparently. So maybe it's a pretty constant problem. Commodore Zed asks, my friend has a question. Can you play Mario Kart World 4-player split screen in the open world mode? You cannot. You can do 2-player, though.
Yes, you can.
You can do 4-player?
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone doing 4-player. I saw only 2-player. 4-player open world. Now we're providing two totally different takes. Free roam.
2-player.
Let's do some. Oh, apparently you can do 4 players. You can do 4 players, which I did not realize. So if you do multiplayer, and then you have everybody select their character, you go into a Grand Prix. It's a little convoluted to be able to run it that way, but you can do it. You can do it in 4 players, which is crazy. I didn't realize that. But back to Cyberpunk. Game ended up running phenomenally when I bumped it up to quality mode, where, yes, handheld mode, I lost a few frames, but instead of trying to run at the 40 frames per second, it was running at 30 frames per second. And honestly, like from 30 to 40, it's almost imperceptible in the differences there. So I don't know. I really have enjoyed my time in Cyberpunk, though, and I'm hoping to be able to spend some more time with it.
I played it. Okay, so I mean, I think we talked about it multiple times already, where I played it on Google Stadia, right? But then I tried it on Steam Deck. Not the place to play it, let me tell you.
Oh, really?
So, not really. Especially because I then played it on GeForce Now, and it just looks so much better on there than on here.
Well, it's kind of like you're running a. It's honestly kind of like you're running a stream, like one of the cloud-based games where like the graphics are dependent upon the computer it's running off of in the server, and they're just streaming the game to you, and your inputs are going. So like, I'm sure that streaming it probably is significantly better on GeForce Now or wherever you can stream it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. What about the different? Did you play it with the Pro Controller?
I did.
Did you play it like docked at all?
I played it handheld quite a bit more than I played docked. Out of the 3 hours, I would say I probably played about 30 minutes docked with the Pro Controller. And the rest of the time I've played it handheld with the Joy-Cons attached. I know there's like a mouse mode. I haven't tried out mouse mode on it just yet. Or at least I think there's mouse mode with that game. I haven't tried out mouse mode with it just yet. But I will say, like, as far as docked to handheld mode, like for the most part, I'm not really experiencing a big difference in graphical power for that game.
What about like when you're playing that game? Do you plan on playing a lot more of it, or do you think it's like a game that you're gonna like slow? It'll be like a slow burn where you kind of just take your time with it.
This is probably going to be one of those games I take quite a bit of my time with. The first reason being is, again, it's that choice paralysis. But I feel I can kind of jump into that game and go accomplish a side mission or something really quickly and then kind of put it down. There are other games that are more demanding of my attention because there's something that I'm more into. Not saying this game isn't phenomenal. It's stellar from what I've gotten to play of it so far. But there's also this issue where I don't really have the ability to play it in front of my children because I don't want to fill their heads with blood, guts, gore, cursing, and nakkies. So like I'm trying to avoid that where they're, then 5 and 8.
Unnecessary questions they don't need to be asking. Yeah.
Stuff I don't really want to answer until they're like, I probably will never actually want to answer, but like at the same time, it's just stuff I don't want to talk about with them just yet. But it's a game that I think I'm going to find myself playing in bed for 20, 30 minutes at a time and putting it down right before I go to sleep to kind of wind down. Although I don't know how much winding down I'm going to do in that game. That game, it kind of gets me amped up, dude. It absolutely kind of gets me amped up.
Well, I mean, it's a lot to play that game. But that being said, Dash beat that game on the Steam Deck. So,
I'm impressed he stuck with it on the Steam Deck. That's awesome.
He's played a lot of games on the Steam Deck. That's like his new platform of choice.
It's easier to kind of get into some of the newer games on there because a lot of times, you tweak with the settings enough. Eventually, you can get it to run pretty well. My biggest complaint with the Steam Deck, and it is a complaint that I'm kind of hearing for some people with Switch 2s, is that the battery life is suboptimal. Like, if I played Baldur's Gate 3, I could get like maybe an hour in before my Steam Deck, and I have the first version, not the OLED version, but my Steam Deck felt like it was dying within an hour if I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 on it. But Metaphor ReFantazio, I could get like a 3 to 4 hour gaming session out of it before I would have to plug it in. But Cyberpunk, I feel like if I tried to run that game on Steam Deck, that I would be living on a cable in most cases. With Switch 2, I play that for, a couple of hours. And it ended up dropping down from, I think I started playing it was at 89% on battery life, and then I dropped it down to like 30% after, an hour and a half of playtime.
Hour and a half. So you, in terms of, what about like, did you like mess around with like HDR or anything?
I didn't turn any of that stuff off. Like, they give you quite a few options in the graphic options on that game, where you can kind of mess around with the settings, but it's a little bit, there's a lot that's in that menu, and it was a lot easier for me to just hit the presets for quality versus performance mode. And then just kind of coast on what that game was doing at that point with the presets that were on there.
Okay, yeah, I hear you there. I did see a video that posted, like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 was having an issue where it would be crashing.
Yeah.
And if you go into the settings, there's two settings they said turn on. One is just on the Switch. If you have the Switch, turn these settings on. One was turn on, you can either turn HDR off or only turn it on compatible games. Otherwise, what it was doing is you were loading Switch 1 games and it would give kind of like a fake HDR, and it was causing Xenoblade Chronicles 1 to crash, like the remastered. And so if you turn that off, you load the game up and it would stop crashing. So apparently that fixes that. And then the other one was stop charging once it gets to 90%.
Yeah. They do have that as a cap option in the actual like power options on the Switch, to where it can stop at about 90%, and then you go from there. I probably should turn that on, realistically, because that will extend your battery life pretty significantly. Right now, I've just still been operating with that 100% mindset because I ain't nothing but 100%, baby. But
Okay, yeah.
I don't know why I had to hype that up as much as I just did. But no, like that. I haven't tried out hardly any of the Switch 1 games on it just yet. And mainly because I've just been too busy with everything else to even notice that. But I did see another video, another member of our community, Netist, aka Yogs Thoth, posted a video of Pikmin 3 not really doing too hot on Switch 2 right now.
Right. But they addressed that with the Switch patch. They said they got it so that you can play it even with those graphical errors, and they're going to fix that in a future patch.
It's still just so weird to me that stuff is happening, because like that's all first party stuff that they should have checked, like they had to test thousands of games, but like in my mind, top priority is your flagship titles, like everything that you've put out. Like, does my Switch 1 games that I've made work on the Switch 2? For the system that I've made that is known as the Switch 2, like I feel like they would have been looking at that pretty consistently, but there's some Switch 1 games out there that are having some real bad compatibility issues, where you have to tinker around with those settings to get them to run correctly on Switch 2, and that's frustrating from like a casual perspective. Like PC gamers kind of understand that, like they've been doing that for years. Tweak around with the settings, make it look good, get it to where it runs just right on your system, because there's so much variability between PC to PC. But console gamers, And I'm one of those. I've basically been one of those my whole life. More so than a PC gamer. They don't want to mess around with that stuff. You know, like that's like the last thing they want to do. They want to be able to set a preset and then just go. And like now you have to screw around with all this stuff because, for better or worse, the Switch 2 is essentially a handheld PC. Like it does crazy amounts of gaming that would have only been possible on something like a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or one of those PC style handhelds that we've gotten nowadays.
What was it? In an interview with Koei Tecmo, they said that it's closer to Series S than a PS4.
Yeah, is
what they said.
It's crazy.
So there was some breaking news. Do you want to talk about it right here, or do you want to wait and talk about it later?
We can talk about it during the extra Nintendo news unless it's like something that's actually good.
Well, I mean, they talked about how it sold.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's hold off on it. Let's hold it for extra Nintendo news because I know Susie's interested in it and she'll stick around for that. So we're gonna hold her hostage.
Now, hold on, Susie's just trying to sleep.
Couple of other questions one other question that you had written down on the doc here is, did I try and load my save from the other system and see how it compares? And I didn't. Because I barely made any progress in it. I actually did the tutorial mission in that game before you go and run off with Jackie to do the montage.
Right.
Or it might have been right after the Jackie montage. I can't remember. But I did the tutorial mission in it, and then I saved and I quit because I had at that time like a 3 or 4 year old running around in my house, and I did not turn off the naked settings. So there's like a big flopping wiener going everywhere on the screen, and I was like, I should probably not be playing this in front of my 4-year-old. So I just and it was on my Xbox, and my TV was in the living room, so there was no time to really play that game at launch. So I didn't make a whole lot of progress in it, and there wasn't any reason for me to try to transfer that save.
So you pretty much made it furthest so far in the Switch one with this hour of progress.
By far, 3 hours. 3 hours. I've got 3 hours on there now. I updated that note.
Oh, you were saying an hour on the.
Yeah, I may have played an hour on the Xbox, but I've played 3 hours, closer to 4 at this point than on the Xbox. I've made so much more progress on the Switch too, so it's been good.
People call the Switch 2 a handheld. Other people call it a home console. What do you call it?
I mean, I would probably call it a home console. It is a handheld. But in and of itself, at its most essential, I would argue that it's powered like a home console, and the way I play it most of the time is in a home console style mode. Docked.
I am looking forward to seeing. You know how like eventually they told us the percentage of what people played docked and not docked.
Yeah, which was crazy. They knew that. That was so crazy.
In the future. Yeah.
I'm interested in that too. I'm really interested in that too. Next game that I've played, and I've played quite a bit of this one actually. Now I didn't update the dock, but I've spent just about the same amount of time in Fast Fusion as I did Cyberpunk 2077, about 3 hours now, instead of 2. I freaking love that game. That game is so much fun. For those who haven't been watching us and haven't been paying attention to the show for the last little bit, Fast Fusion is like a spiritual successor to F-Zero, with a little more realism, obviously. It's not quite as anime, but that game, it rocks, dude. It rocks my socks off.
Yeah, it just looks so good, like graphically, and just like the speed of it. I like it. The one thing I want to know about is like the game share. Like to see, so if you didn't do it yet this week, maybe try it next week. Just see if you can get random people to come and play your copy of the game.
Oh yeah, dude! I didn't even think about that. I saw that question on the notes, and for some reason I was thinking game chat, not game share. When you asked me about that, and I didn't even think to try Game Share, and I should totally do that. Maybe I'll do that on Thursday. If I have any friends out there who would like to try Fast Fusion, come to my stream. We'll jump in a Discord voice call on Thursday night, and we'll try out some Fast Fusion through Game Share with each other. But I didn't even think about that, and I probably should try that so I could talk about that, because I did try a Game Chat, but not Game Share. But I've played a couple of cups of this. Even in novice difficulty, dude, I feel like those CPUs are so cheaty to an extent. Like, there are moments I got sniped at the last second. There was I did a Game & Watch over on our YouTube channel, and if you haven't been following along there, we're posting some 20-minute long videos over there of the first 20 minutes of gameplay of some of these newer games, and I got sniped. I'm getting called out in the live chat by Susie, though. She's saying skill issue. I think she's just mad because we're withholding that information till the extra Nintendo News segment. But
Of course, she's just trying to sleep.
I'm pretty sure Nettist is taking over Susie's account, because that's a very Nettist comment. I feel offended. Should I be offended?
You shouldn't be. Well, have you raced her yet? Maybe
I haven't.
Maybe you gotta stop dodging her and race her.
You know what? Come on over. Thursday night on my stream, and we'll do some Game Share if you don't own it already, because I know you have a Switch 2 now, Susie. So we'll try it out.
Won't let you come over tomorrow night. You can come over.
I'm not gonna be live. I mean, I'm gonna be live, but I'm gonna be doing Marvel Multiverse with like 6 other people, so I'm not gonna be able to do it.
So Susie will be in the chat saying,
Yeah.
Okay, I send an invite.
Yeah.
Just type your room code in the chat.
Just be like, no, I can't right now. Go fast.
I'm pretty busy.
But I really like that game. It is pretty. It is really, really pretty. And I haven't gotten to do any of the fusion mechanic in it yet, because I don't know when they introduced that. But I did a couple of races of the first cup in the Novice Grand Prix. I've done a couple of races in the second cup in the Novice Grand Prix. I've done some time attack stuff. I've bought a couple of cars because you earn money by running over these like coins that also give you boost in that game. I have no recollection of what Fast RMX was like, because I never played that. So I don't know how this compares to Fast RMX, but I do know how this holds up on its own, and it is really, really good. The biggest complaint that I have with this game is they have a quality mode in this too, so you can shift between performance mode or quality mode, and quality mode is almost like playing a completely different game. Playing in performance mode, you get the smooth 60 frames per second. Everything still looks really, really good. Like, it still genuinely blows me away. And I was playing in quality mode on the Game & Watch, so if you'd like to see a comparison, I also swap at the end and do a time attack in the performance mode. Or my apologies, flip it and reverse it, because I keep messing these up, because I think performance and I'm like higher performance. But quality mode is the mode that gets you the 4K textures, the 30 frames per second. The performance mode is the one that gets you 60 frames per second, but a lower resolution and no dynamic shadows and all that jazz. And I was playing it with the 60 frames per second mode instead of the 30 frames per second mode. And then when I swapped to the 30 frames per second mode, it felt like a completely different game. Like, the controls were a lot more floaty. It didn't feel like my car was responding quite that quickly. And it was a world difference compared to like Cyberpunk, where, you know, I go from 40 frames to 30 frames and it's almost imperceptible, the difference. From 60 frames to 30 frames, it's a huge difference. And in that game, it feels like it really matters.
Right. Especially because they kind of like pride themselves on being able to get the game to 60 frames a second.
I would recommend, if you are looking to play that game, especially handheld, because I've played that game mostly handheld as well, a little bit docked, because that's been one of my off-stream games that I've been diving into. I would say definitely keep it in any of the modes that get you 60 frames per second during the racing, because the game does not control nearly as well. And while, yeah, you get some upped textures and you get these dynamic shadows and it looks really cool, honestly, the frame rate is distracting enough to where it's like, this isn't an improvement. It feels like a step backwards. And it kind of hurts my opinion of it a little bit. But you know, I have some high opinions on whether or not you're wanting 60 or 30 frames per second. In some games it doesn't matter, like Cyberpunk. But in this game it really, really did matter.
Yeah, let me just say, I was like, you know, I was like playing like, you know, the Switch, and then going from the Switch to like the going from the Switch to the Steam Deck, it was like 30 was, it was, you know what, it runs, at least it runs at 30, that's good enough,
Right.
and it doesn't drop. But then with like GeForce Now and the PS5, like once you do have a game and it runs at a smooth 60 frames a second, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I kind of like this a lot better, actually.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, I will say, once you get into these higher frame rates, which it does not apply to the Switch 2, like from 60 to 120 frames per second, I almost don't really notice a big difference. I'm not going to lie. I personally don't notice a big difference. Maybe it's my eyes just aren't working.
30 to 60?
No, from 60 to 120. And I know it should be running smoother. I know it should be running smoother, but my brain is just not picking up on the 120 frames per second.
Yeah, I'll be watching a stream. I was watching one stream one time where they were like, this should be getting 240 frames, and I can tell just looking at it, it's only 180. And they like went to the settings, and it was, the frame rate was 180. And they were like, oh, we got to bump that up to 240. I was like, how could you tell? Because, I mean,
Right.
isn't like the eye can only see so high? Or maybe, was that a Mythbuster thing that got disproven?
But I don't, we need the Mythbusters to come back. We need to get Adam Savage and the Walrus Man himself right back on stream again. Like, again,
Right,
just
yeah.
like doing Mythbusters all over again. You know, I don't know. Like, I think, I found myself that 60 is kind of like that ideal for me. I don't really need the 120 frames per second. Because like I'm not going to be playing good enough on most games that are going to do 120 frames per second for it to matter. You know, like it's not going to help me any. I'm still so bad at video games, but you know, that being said, like it is still important to try to hit that 60, and I did not realize how stark the difference was between 60 and 30.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I didn't notice it either. I thought for some reason like my thing wasn't showing. But it is.
Your thing?
Yeah, my video. I didn't know I had it selected, but I did. Okay, we're good. Don't worry. False alarm. We're good. Okay, I can go back to opening up the show notes.
Oh, okay. Open up them show notes.
I'm trying. And so yeah, so I'm just excited that that this game is out there, even though we got, you know, Mario Kart and now this. How does it feel? Because you said you played a lot more of it than you thought. How does it feel with another Mario or with another racing game out there as well?
It's a completely different experience. It really is. Like I was hesitant to just buy another racer just because Mario Kart was so freaking good, and that consumed my life the whole first day. Like that's all I played was Mario Kart World. And then the next day I was like, I really need to try out something else so we can have some other stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. And Fast Fusion, it's a completely different experience compared to Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is, while they're both arcade racers at their heart, Mario Kart World has this kind of party mode racer mindset, whereas this is more of a serious, like something you would actually find in an arcade style racer. And I think it provides a different enough experience that people who spend the extra, you know, $15 on it, are not going to be disappointed with the purchase. There's so much content to do there. But Fast Fusion, it is so different. It's hard for me to say like this isn't worth investing in. But I think to kind of answer your question even further, my preference would be that there was a different genre game on the system at launch day that was kind of at that price point, Because if there had been at $15 that was being reviewed well, or that, that I thought would do well, or that would meet like the stuff that I'm interested in, I maybe would have been more apt to pick up one of those. But because it was $14.99, and because I know I like racers, and because I know I like F-Zero, and I wouldn't mind jumping into that kind of thing, I was more willing to part with the extra $15 for that game. But that game is not going to be for everybody. I will say that much. That game is a high-speed, high-intensity, complex racer, whereas Mario Kart World, and anybody can jump into Mario Kart World and have a good time. But Fast Fusion, because you're swapping your colors to get proper boosts, because you're managing these curves, because there's a lot of stuff kind of swinging around the world trying to actually kill your car, and you're also managing resources as you're racing. It isn't one of those things that I feel like anybody can jump into and have a good time with.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Or
and
be
that's
good at.
understandable too, because not everyone's going to be into Mario Kart,
Mm-mm.
I mean, you could say that about pretty much any game,
Mm-hmm.
really. And then did you try any sort of like motion controls? Or one thing I like to do on the Switch 1 games is just to see if the touch screen is if you can use the touch screen in the menus even.
I didn't try.
Do you ever do anything like that?
I didn't try touchscreens, but I don't think that game has motion controls. I don't think it has motion controls. But I also didn't try to touch. Dude, don't do a barrel roll in that game. You'll die. Your car will explode. But I didn't try any of the touchscreen stuff, and I probably should have. Just because navigating the menus would be interesting. Because there's a lot of menus to navigate on that main home screen. You've got Grand Prix, you've got Time Attack, you've got options, you've got Jukebox, you've got the Fusion Shop, you've got there's a superhero mode that they have on there on the home screen. There's so many menu options to click through, and then once you click through those, it gets drastically limited down to like 3 options. It's like novice, intermediate, and expert, or whatever it is, and so a lot less sub menus. But that first home menu, it would have been nice to be able to just tap what I wanted instead of having to go down to get to what I actually want to do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I understand that too. Yeah. But, yeah, I like to check the touch screens, and, yeah, you know what? It does kind of remind me of with games like that, like Extreme G, Wipeout,
Mhm.
those sort of games. F-Zero, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
comes to mind.
Absolutely. F-Zero is
is
probably
there-
even more arcadey than Fast Fusion actually is. Fast Fusion is
Is there
probably closer to the
online?
Extreme G.
Did you try, can you play online against random people?
I did not try to play online. To my knowledge, I didn't really see an option for online races when I was on there.
What, for Fast Fusion?
Yeah. But let me actually, I'm just going to boot it up right now. And because I didn't try to do online. I'm just going to boot it up right now
Let
and
us
find
know
out.
about the touch screen, please, for crying out
Yeah,
loud.
we're going to find out. I've got the Switch right here. There's no reason I can't just boot this bad boy
Really?
up.
That's true.
Oh, it does have multiplayer. It has split screen and game share. So it does not have an online actual multiplayer mode.
Oh.
And then no, touchscreen does not work on the menus. Touchscreen does not work on the
Get a
menus, so now you know. Now we know. I could have just booted it up this whole time. But no,
Is that
it
mouse
just has
controls?
what would you use that for? I would not want to do mouse controls in that game. I need all the buttons that I can possibly get my hands on. But yeah, no, it's super good. Definitely a recommendation. If you like that style of racer, you are going to have a good time with that one. I haven't put enough time into it to give it a score. Same as Cyberpunk. I haven't put enough time into it to give it a score. But I'm just going to say don't recommend or do recommend. But for the most part, almost all of these games, I'm recommending. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm recommending. Spoilers for the rest of the episode.
You had good time. So you're recommending everything coming
I'm recommending
forward?
everything that I played for launch day so far. I'm recommending everything I've played so far. It's good.
Everything.
It's good. All of it is good. I'm recommending it.
Okay.
Listen,
Speaking of Nintendo Switch 2,
I'll tell you
welcome
what
to-
I. Here's what I'll tell you. What I. Here's what I'll do is I'll tell you. Well, hold on. Yeah, I forgot.
Well, you said everything.
I
That's
take
why
it
I
back.
asked you
I take it
multiple
back.
times.
I take
I
it
asked
back.
you this multiple times.
I'll give an order of what I would recommend people buy after we finish up what I've actually had my hands on so far. Fortnite. We've played quite a bit of together on Switch 2. We did the, if you guys showed up on the Galactic Battle Death Star sabotage mission stream that we did with Mrs. Nerdwire, my wife Courtney, and Super Nintendo Dad, aka Chris, and myself.
Lucy.
We had a really, really good time running through that event, but we've also played quite a bit off stream. I've done quite a bit of gameplay, some with just the Joy-Cons. I tilted out pretty hard when I was playing with just the Joy-Cons, I'm not gonna lie. With the very first what was it? We booted in the very first game that we played. I immediately went, screw this, I'm going downstairs, I'm getting on my Xbox.
Yeah, you were not happy that
No,
night.
dude, I got so tilted out immediately because this dude started emoting on us as soon as he killed me. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. I'm learning a new control scheme, and you really did something big. You beat up on a noob. Okay, but playing with my Pro controller, I don't recommend Joy-Cons. Joy-Cons for me were not an easy time because I've been too used to playing with an Xbox Elite controller for the last little bit. I was playing with the Joy-Cons, did not enjoy that. I've played with the Pro controller with the back buttons. Phenomenal gameplay experience. I've got my sprint and my crouch bound to the GL and GR buttons on the back of the Pro controller. Super, super easy to program those too, by the way. But it's been super, super genuinely a good time playing this season, but also playing on the Switch 2. Graphically, looks amazing. Like, it's not to the level that you would get if you're playing on Fortnite Mobile. It's not to the level that you would get if you were playing on PC or Xbox, but it's just like right below that. You have dynamic shadows. The clothing actually moves. If you've played Fortnite on Switch 1, it's an awful, terrible, muddy experience. Most skins don't even load in that game. And then if you're in the lobby, like you're grouped up with, because my wife plays on the Switch 1 quite a bit with Chris and I.
Yes.
And if you're in the lobby trying to boot in, Chris and I have already been dancing for the last 45 seconds. You got like 10 seconds until the battle bus starts leaving without you. And then you load in on Switch 1. On this, it's almost instantaneous. Like, I don't think you've had to wait for me to be in the lobby at all since
You're
the
pretty
Switch 2
much
version.
there when I load. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's no different than when you're on the Xbox, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty much the same.
It is crazy, and like the graphics look good. Again, like I said, the graphics look good. The gameplay is exactly what you would expect. Chris and I play a lot of we play a lot of Zero Build, don't we? But overall gameplay is exactly what you would expect in that. Go around, shoot people, try to survive until the end.
One old men using
yeah, a couple of old men just zero building it out here.
Right. I play with my son and my younger son. So I play with the younger son, and every time I join, he has it on build. We start up the match. I was like, "Why am I picking up material?" He's like, "Oh gosh." He's like, "I didn't change it." And then Dashel, he's like, even he will say something. He's like, "Why are we in build? What's happening?" And he wants to switch it back to the no build too. It's just the younger one. So since one wants to do it one way, one wants to do it the other way, we have to, take turns switching and doing it with build sometimes since he likes it, and then not build the other time since the other one likes it that way. If they both liked build, then I would just have to learn to build. But instead, I mean, every time we've won in build mode, I have not built anything, but we still somehow win,
Absolutely. No, this is just I can't do build mode, and that's just my problem. I'm old, and I just can't. My brain doesn't work in Minecraft anymore. It just doesn't function in Minecraft anymore. But But I've rather enjoyed it, and like I said, it's the experience you would expect. It is Fortnite at its core, but I'm kind of blown away by how good it looks on this console, and I've been extremely happy with my experience on it.
No save the world mode, of course.
No, and it's never coming to Switch, apparently. It's just never coming to Switch. Bring back OG Fortnite. The good news is they do have it in there. You can do OG Fortnite as a game mode. So you can do OG Fortnite and enjoy your time in there. They've brought it back. They've brought it back, baby.
Too bad.
Yep.
You know, and break it down and get some material.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of questions you got about Fortnite before we move on to the next
wanted to
game?
know if you went ahead and used the mouse controls. Have you used?
Well, wouldn't you know? So I was recording. I did a Game & Watch recording. That video is going to go live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time for all of you people out there who maybe want to see a round of Fortnite on Nintendo Switch 2. I recorded last night with my wife, but then I forgot to turn off the copyrighted music stuff, and it immediately said, we're not pushing this video out because it has copyrighted material in it. And I went, oh, shoot, I got to re-record. So then you and I got together earlier this afternoon and did a new recording playing with mouse mode controls. And
Yeah.
I got to say, like, it is it's a little bit of a frustrating experience, mouse mode controls in that game. Partly because, A, you've got to turn them on. If you don't turn them off, it messes with how the game actually like recognizes your inputs through a Pro Controller. And I know that's probably a bug that will be addressed later, and they're probably working on trying to improve that. But if you swap from mouse controls to a Pro Controller, for instance, your look doesn't want to function the way that it should immediately. So you have to press your pause button, pull up your quick pause, and then close it again. And then you can look around the way that you should. But if you pull up the map, you've got to press your pause button again. And so you got to make sure that you turn it off if you're not using the mouse mode. The other thing that's kind of frustrating about it is that the game itself, like when you've got it in mouse mode, you're using it like this, but all of the face buttons still do all the things that you need to do. The stick itself doesn't look around, but it does the scroll down and up, but it doesn't do the looking around. And so pretty much the only function of mouse mode in that game is the stick movement. Now, while I like having the sensitivity to be able to just kind of spin around really quickly against console players, and like outmaneuvering them that way.
Yes.
Everything else about it is super difficult to use because the Joy-Con itself is so tiny. Still yet, even with it being as big as it is, if you turn it on its side, it's like you're holding a stick and you're trying to use it as a mouse. And I found my hand cramping. I found that I was jittering a lot whenever I was trying to play with it. The USB mouse is absolutely something you can do, and maybe I'll try that out on a different time because it's also got keyboard support too on Switch 2. And maybe I'll try that out at a different time. I just wanted to try the built-in stuff that you could do. Crouch and slide is still bound to the joystick, so you have to click that joystick in while still holding that mouse, the Joy-Con in mouse mode vertically, and it's just a chore to use. I don't think it's ready yet. I think if there was a peripheral for the Joy-Con itself, you could totally rely on the Joy-Con. I did also find that the trigger button is still your shoot button, and so it's not super intuitive because I'm finding that I'm using my my middle finger to do my shooting, whereas like normally I would use my forefinger to do my shooting.
Okay. So you only use it for the right hand, right?
Yeah.
In terms
well,
of
you can do it for both. So they have options for you to turn it on for. You can do it for the right controller as the mouse mode. You could do it for left controller as the mouse mode, or you could turn on both. I didn't try out both because I don't even know what you would do at that moment. Like I don't know how that would work. Like would I be doing drag and drive at that point, trying to play Fortnite. So I didn't bother with both. I only did it with the right because I'm a righty, and that's all I experienced. But it is only for the looking around portion of it. And you can go into the game menu and rebind some of the controls, but there are so few buttons on these controllers, and almost every button in that game is important to use, save for, emoting. You don't have to emote. So I guess I could get rid of that. But every button plays an important function in that game. So it's hard to rebind them and into a functional experience.
So, but you have been enjoying it when you're not using
Oh yeah,
the mouse control?
With Pro Controller, with True Fortniters dual mouse mode, says Team Wildwood in the live chat. Just over here wheelchairing it around on the old Fortnite island. But no, like I like it with the Pro Controller. Joy-Cons, if you've gotten used to using Joy-Cons on Switch 1 and that's where you've played it the most, you're going to have a good time with it. I've just gotten used to an actual controller and how it feels and where my button layout is and what all buttons I need to play with whenever I'm playing that game. So it's a little bit, it's hard for me to swap off of like an actual controller to the Joy-Cons, but still an enjoyable time.
Okay, yeah. So my other question about the mouse, do you always put the little mouse attachment on every time you use it, or have you tried it, just played it without that?
Yeah, I always put the mouse
Protector.
The Joy-Con straps on, mainly because they have the quick slide stuff. That makes it a little easier. I've got a gigantic like keyboard mouse mat in front of me. So it's a little bit easier to be able to do that that way. So not so much of an issue. Not so much of an issue.
Can we call those mouse traps?
I mean, we can. It'd be wrong, but we can.
That's what I want to call. I mean, we don't have to, but I'm just throwing it out there as an option. As an option. Okay, let me see. Do I have any more questions for Fortnite? I would say the one question I have for you is, did you make sure you got your free emote? Because there's an emote that you can only get in the Switch 2 shop.
I did, and you didn't have to do anything special to get it.
Just load it up.
No,
right?
Like you just load up the game, and it just says, "Thanks for playing on Nintendo Switch 2. Here's your free emote. Claim." So it's instantaneous. Nothing you have to go and do special. Just as soon as you boot the game up, you get this like wishing star emote.
That's what it did with Kratos and the God of War skin and Master Chief on Xbox Series S or X.
It's also what it did with the most recent Fortnite mobile revival. So if you logged in on Fortnite mobile, it automatically gave you, I think there was a skin, and a pickaxe that they gave you for free.
That's great. I was drinking some water.
and I stopped talking.
and you right as I stopped talking, so that really helped me out. But yeah, in terms of Fortnite, I mean, it's more Fortnite, but we have played some matches together.
At this point, I've probably put about 6 hours into that game. I have 4 hours on the show notes, but at this point, I've put in 6 hours probably because I haven't updated it since we last played it.
Please.
I might. Respectfully, I might update it. Oh yeah, I see you did. You did. We have a quick ad break getting ready to start. Everybody go get your snacks. Go use the bathroom. We're going to be snacks? I don't know. Get any snacks you got. You tell us the snacks you go get. We'll be right back after these short messages. All right, where we last left off, we were talking about all the games that we've had the chance to play on Nintendo Switch 2 in the 5 days since that console has been out. We've gotten to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, big recommendations from us. Fast Fusion, another big recommendation from us. Fortnite, it's more Fortnite, what do you expect? We're going to be diving into the next set of games that I've had the chance to play on the Switch 2, and we're going to start with the Nintendo GameCube Classics. And honestly, I'm gonna be completely real with you guys. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play much of the actual games themselves. I've spent about 20 minutes with each one just because I've been so distracted by everything else that is new. I've already experienced these things in the past, and it's nice that they're there. But they've kind of been on the back burner because I've been doing so much Mario Kart World and Cyberpunk 2077 and Fortnite and Fast Fusion and everything else. Right. But overall, really, really great experience. That stuff runs phenomenally on this system. And GameCube emulation is a little bit easier to achieve than Nintendo 64 emulation. And Nintendo's done a pretty good job with this. And I like the games that are on here quite a bit. I like Soul Calibur 2 a lot. I had tons of time in that game growing up, playing with my dad. Killick main for life, and then Link, of course, because he was the exclusive character to that edition of Soul Calibur. But really, really, really good. Wind Waker, possibly one of my top 3 Zeldas of all time. If you ask me a different time, I'm going to tell you a different Zelda still yet. But I had a really, really good time with Wind Waker and revisiting that. And then F-Zero GX, the best F-Zero game out of the franchise. Not that there's a whole lot of them.
Best.
I mean, what do you got? F-Zero Arcade, F-Zero GX, F-Zero X, and then F-Zero, and then
AX, right?
and then
Is
99.
That what the arcade one was?
Yeah, it was
and
AX.
GX?
It was AX, I
Yeah.
believe.
The day the GameCube came out, I had knee surgery, from when I wanted to become a pro wrestler and tore my ACL, playing Octopus Tag. But what happened was, so I got the GameCube and I was like so fascinated by those dang miniature discs that they were on. They were on those small little miniature discs. But back then I was also working. So I was working at the GameStop, which was in the town where I lived. But right before that, I worked at, it was Gennardi's we used to have. But anyway, so I was working at GameStop. So when stuff like this came out, I got the Xbox version, the PlayStation version, and anytime there was differences, like I liked how the Genesis and Super NES versions were different, and then with games like this, the once we had games like on the GameCube, they were pretty much the same game. They weren't quite like the Super NES and Genesis, how they were 2 totally different teams making the same game,
Right.
So when something like this came out with Soul Calibur, where it was like a different character for each system, I was like, that is awesome. More games should do this. And now it's like people are like mad about pre-order bonuses, but
Yeah.
that's a different topic.
Yeah, totally.
altogether.
But it's in the same family. It's in the same family.
But I definitely played a lot of GameCube. So the fact that it's here, playing this, are you like, you know what? I can see why they didn't have the GameCube running on the Switch 1 NSL.
Yes and no. GameCube emulation, like I said, kind of at the top, is a lot easier to accomplish these days than N64 emulation. And it kind of surprises me that N64 emulation came before GameCube emulation. Not in the sense that like that I understand why, because chronologically the N64 came out before the GameCube did, but it surprises me that they're not putting this as a thing that you can play on Switch 1. Because I think it could totally run on Switch 1. even with the extra power that's kind of needed behind it to really make it happen, it's one of those things where I think GameCube probably could have came to Switch 1. I mean, if you consider the fact that Super Mario Sunshine is running on the Switch 1 in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars pack, like there's no reason this stuff couldn't have made its way over to Switch 1. So I just think there's part of me that wants to call it, hey, this is like for those people that are out there for the Nintendo Classics, which I don't know how many people are out there just playing the Nintendo Classics on their consoles and that's it. It's like a sales point, but at the same time, it's not for me. Like, there's so much new stuff that I mean, if I wanted to play this, I still have my GameCube. I could boot up these games on my GameCube. I could boot these games up on my PC if I wanted to do the illegal route, you know, like the naughty route. There's no reason it shouldn't have came to Switch 1, but hey, you know, that's okay. I don't know until they put something on there that really grabs my personal attention out of the GameCube library of games, like maybe Luigi's Mansion 1,
Cube of War.
Cube of Art, Chibi Robo,
Doshin the Giant.
Doshin the Giant. Yes, let's do that. Maybe, I mean, even Super Mario Sunshine, the original version of it, coming out on there. I don't know that I'm going to be spending a whole lot of time in that app just yet. I need something to kind of really, really kind of get me super excited. And while Wind Waker is like the big sales point, I think here, the rest of those games, just don't hold my attention for a long period of time these days. I will say, and Susie's got a point, and I'm going to say it right here, right now. I'm just going to take exactly what she said, and I'm going to call out Doug Bowser and President Furukawa. You cowards need to put Animal Crossing, the original GameCube release of Animal Crossing, on the Nintendo Switch right now. We riot at dawn if they don't.
Never gonna happen.
Why do you think it's never gonna happen?
Because of all of the games that they have on there and the emulator that's on there, they're never going to bring that over.
I don't see the issue. I really don't, because most of those games that are in the emulator, the original Nintendo games, are available for you to be able to use in the NES stuff, in the NES Classics catalog.
I'm just saying it there. You know what? You're gonna get the original. You're gonna get Animal Forest on the N64 Japanese.
Yes.
NSO.
Let's do that too. That would be honestly dope, because I've never played that one. I've never touched that one. Well, I know there's English patches for it.
Well, there's not going to be on NSO.
No. I mean, well, maybe. You never know. They've brought over Japanese only games.
Well, yeah, it would just be Japanese only. Animal Crossing on the GameCube is just,
Besides the NES emulator side of it, why do you think it wouldn't happen?
Just a remaster of the N64 game. Besides the biggest reason why it's not coming,
it's not even a good reason. It's just your opinion, man.
It's an incredible reason. There's the reason that they wouldn't want people to be able to somehow use it as a back door to get into emulation on the Switch 2.
They wouldn't add any. They couldn't add anything else on there.
Switch 2's already been hacked, but
not my Switch 2. My Switch 2 is still pristine and not been sullied by nefarious things. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't have a whole lot to say about the GameCube games, though. I will be honest. I don't have a whole lot to say about the GameCube games. There's not enough there yet for us to give a proper, like, here's the breakdown. Now, if I were to say, here's the games you should play, like, it's Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, then Soul Calibur 2 in that order. That's just where I'm at.
In that order? That's your order?
Yeah, that's my order. That's the order I actually tried them out into. Like, I was like, all right, Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Soul Calibur 2.
It's pretty devastating going back and playing any of those old games because they don't respect my time.
You
and
just
don't
hate old
let me-
games.
they don't let me skip cutscenes. That's one of the worst parts. They don't respect.
They don't respect my time. You don't respect them as developers, is what I'm hearing.
Sure, I do.
You're just like, but I want to skip past all of your hard work. Ignore that. It's what you did to me when we were playing Elden Ring Night Rain. You're like, just skip it. I was like, but I
Hit the
need to
button.
see it. But
the
I
button.
only have so much time on this right now. I was like, but I need to see this.
Well, watch a YouTube video.
That's exactly what
do.
you said to me. Watch a YouTube video while we play. I was like, I can't do two things at once.
That's what I did with Xenoblade.
My brain doesn't work like that, bro. My brain doesn't work like that.
Give it a try.
I played about an hour of it. The main thing I found was the secret, the Easter egg where you can get the GameCube startup sound by holding right on the Joy-Con on the left Joy-Con.
What button combination do you need to hold to get the baby?
That's actually, I do need to know that. I wonder if that's possible. That'd be great. I should find that out. Maybe we'll test that. But no, that's what I spent most of my time doing, was just seeing how to get the
On
GameCube startup to
app?
happen.
Yeah. What about Breath of the Wild? I know you played that.
I did. I've only gotten to play about an hour of that. I did that on stream and was trying to make some progress in it. I didn't even get off the Great Plateau yet. But because I had a bunch of friends that were showing up in my chat saying, "Hey, can you come play Mario Kart World with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, fine." But I got about an hour of gameplay in on it. That game runs so smoothly, so beautifully. It is above and beyond a good experience to play that game. It is how in my mind, that game played how I remembered it playing whenever I got it originally on the Switch. But when I go and watch videos of how it actually played on the Switch originally, it is a world difference. But it's a smooth 60 frames per second, no dips, no stutters. The lighting, the shadows, the texture details, everything just kind of pops. It controls so smoothly. In a lot of ways, it is the exact same experience you've gotten if you've played that game prior on Switch 1, even the Wii U. But it is there is a clear reason to pay the extra $10 to experience Breath of the Wild in the 60 frames per second, higher resolution textures. It is worth the $10 if you do not have Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass to get the stability and experience that game the way that I think that game was intended to be played.
Well, okay, so you experienced it playing that way. Did you try using like the NSO app for the GPS to be like, walk 200 meters?
I did. And I gotta be honest. I think the Zelda Notes app is kind of garbage. I think it's kind of garbage. The interface to be able to do anything in it is kind of, it's very Nintendo, right? Like you boot up the Nintendo Switch Online app, then you go to the Zelda Notes section within the app. It opens up a new dialog box. You can open up the map, the GPS. The map looks exactly like the map you currently have unlocked in the game. And I was hoping that whenever I unlocked the actual spire, right? I was hoping that when I unlocked the spire that unlocks the map for the area in the Great Plateau, that it would do the map on Zelda Notes, but I had to back out and refresh the app to get it to update live for the map system that I had just unlocked. And that's kind of a mess. If it's going to link to my Switch 2 and know that I'm doing that and know my position, why does it not know that I unlocked that section of the map and it can update on there and then I can navigate to the things that are around me to what I'm trying to get to? It's a mess. It's a mess. And honestly, it's something that I think should have and could have been implemented directly into Breath of the Wild rather than having it be a third-party app again by them trying to force that Nintendo Switch Online app on us like they've done with Splatoon for the last 2 entries.
So you're saying it's worth it to play it just because, to revisit the game, not necessarily to try the new features. Well, at least that new feature.
That new feature in particular, yes. I
Right,
think
but
you could avoid the Zelda
4
Notes app and enjoy it.
But playing it at 60 frames a second is pretty nice.
Yes.
Seems like.
It is an experience that greatly helps out the game. I got something to share with the people. It's a chat tone Easter egg. Let me see here. Hang on one moment. Let me pull up the audio, and then do I have desktop audio on here? I do not. I've got to add desktop audio.
Please add it.
Audio output capture.
Let us see this treat.
Desktop system. There we go. All right. Here we go. We're gonna find out what this Easter egg is in the game chat sounds. Hang on, let me replay that video. That's interesting. That is interesting. Is that the that is the lead up tone for the Mario song, slowed down. So if it's it's the da but super highly speed up. That's pretty cool. I do dig that. I dig that a lot.
Wait, what is that? That's what?
It was sped up. It is a sped up version of the Super Mario theme song when you open up the Game Chat app.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That is pretty dang cool. Oh man, but no, I would argue the upgrades that are here though for Breath of the Wild by far an amazing addition to the library of games.
So, are you hoping more games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then I imagine Tears of the Kingdom? Did you play that one at all?
I didn't touch Tears of the Kingdom yet. That's probably going to happen a little bit later. I got to try out Breath of the Wild on stream. I want to do Tears of the Kingdom on stream as well, and just kind of get to experience it that way.
There's only so much space on the system hard drive. You know what I mean?
Yep, I am quickly running out of room too, as far as that goes. Like, I am absolutely running out of room now. I already have Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild installed on the console. So it'll be easy enough for me to jump into Tears of the Kingdom, but there's only so many hours in the day as well.
Yeah, I hear you there. All right, so you played Breath of the Wild. Did you go back and play any of the older ones to see how it compares? Like jumping back and forth, or watch any gameplay videos and then jumping in and trying that same section?
So I did watch a comparison of the Wii U version, the Switch version, and the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild, and oh my god, the difference between load times is insanity. Yeah. It's insanity.
It's like night and day.
It is. It's almost instantaneous load for the Switch 2 version versus there was a segment where the video creator, they did a quick teleport from one location to one of the lookout spires, and it literally took an additional 15 seconds for the Wii U version to load. It took an additional 10 seconds for the Switch 1 version to load versus the Switch 2 edition getting directly into the spire almost immediately. It was crazy. It was super stupid dumb, but it was crazy. I haven't tried to do it myself. I was going to do a lot of those comparison videos, but I saw so many of them out there, and I was like, we'll just promote the other people. We'll promote the other people's stuff. There's no point in me doing that in particular, but still yet, an absolute worthy investment. Another game that I have played a little bit of, about the same amount of time, is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And approximately 2 hours between my kiddos playing it and myself. I'm going based off of what my system console time says in time spent on that game. I gotta be honest. There is a, you know what? Ask me some questions because I'm gonna pull up. I am going to pull up Lando's review of Nintendo Switch 2 real quick. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour real fast.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's what I want to know about, because we got Lando was playing it. He played it on stream. Trip played it on stream some. They both played it. They both, Lando was out here skipping through the dialogue like a champ. Like a true champion. The way the games are meant to be played, get into playing the game instead of just reading. If I wanted to read, I'd get a book. Mm-hmm. But what did Lando think of the game?
Let me find
you have it up yet?
Strongest. No? Yep, I've got it up. Hang on 1 second here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm holding on.
I'm trying to get the actual video to the point where he decides he's
okay. Yeah, let me just say, if you're listening now, just
here.
Pause.
Yeah, chicken, but...
Oh,
hello.
Yep. How many do we have? So this is his review. That person's racked up 10. Talk to the mic.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Are you done? Are you bored?
Yeah, chicken, but...
Oh, you're done? You wanted this game so bad, you're done? Are you bored? Yeah, Trip can play. Okay. All right, well, you can send Trip down. Well, there's your review, everybody.
Okay, understandable.
So that was his review. He was done. He was bored. And I gotta be honest, it is a experience. It's one of those things where I don't like. If you are super into the hardware aspect of that game and you want to see more information about the hardware side of it and how everything works and how it looks when you play it, like, I totally get it, but I don't know that it is worth $10. Maybe $5. Maybe $5.
$5. Maybe they could have, I don't know, given it to us with the game.
Honestly,
maybe?
After playing it, I think it would have been one of those things that yes, they should give it to us with the console. The problem is it's even more than a $10 game. You need a 4K TV, you need a Pro controller, and you need the Nintendo Switch 2 camera or a compatible camera with the console. And I went out and I bought the camera because I skipped out on that thinking I didn't absolutely have to have it. And I was wrong. In order to complete this game and do everything in it, you need to have all three of those accessories to be able to make it happen. A 4K TV, a camera, and the Pro controller. And then you pay them $10 more to buy this tech demo of a game. I said it was a pass. I said it was not great. I will say my oldest son really actually enjoyed it. But he likes learning a lot, and he loves school, and it is one of his most favorite things is to learn new things about how the inner workings of everything happen. He didn't even play any of the mini games. He went around and did all the reading, talking, and doing the quizzes and had a great time with it. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with you, child? I love you, but what's wrong with you? Game's bad. Game's not a game so much as it is a tech demo. And it is one of those things that I would say, yeah, maybe skip out on picking this one up. Maybe skip out on picking this one up.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first thing that I've said, hey, don't bother picking it up. And my mindset was, it's only $10, no big deal. No, it's not really worth $10. It's not really worth $10. It's cool to experience a lot of these other things, but I'm with you and the vast majority of people that it should have been a pack-in, and I think people would have probably received it a little more warmly.
Okay, understandable. But yeah, this was It's $10. I mean, clearly some people are out there getting it because what is it? There's multiple. It's like number 3 or 4, right? Best seller on the eShop.
Yeah, it was on launch day. It was the number 3 bestseller on the eShop,
Yeah.
and not even
I think
digital only. That's out of all the games between physical and digital.
I think it was like number 2 or it was like number 2 before
Number 2 download only.
well, it was number 2 before Mario Kart. So, but before the launch, like how some people were getting it before midnight, like on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were getting it ahead of time, but those I don't know. I can't remember if it was the code in the box. I think it was the system where if you turn the system on and hit the button to redeem the game, right?
Right.
That wasn't letting you do it until 3:00 in the morning,
Right.
right? Because it was taking the Pacific.
But everything
time.
else was able to do it.
But the code was able to do it, yeah.
Mhm.
And so before that happened, it was number 2. And so I feel like people just got it because they were like, listen, I want to get something. I want to feel like
They
have
need
something other
something to
than
play,
Mario Kart.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And on top of that, the investment there was kind of small. It was $10. Susie in the live chat says, given the high cost of buy-in overall here, that's $10 that could have better gone toward a controller or something. And I would agree with that take. If you compare this game to Fast Fusion, which is $5 more, and it's an actual game, like it's very difficult for me to be like, it's worth it. My mindset originally was it's $10. If I pick it up, I'm not going to feel too bad about it. But it wasn't just $10. It was the camera. It was the Pro Controller. It was the 4K TV. It was the Switch 2, and it was Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Like, it was so much more than just $10 ultimately. And she's right. That's $10 more that could have went toward another game.
Anything else, really? Yeah.
Keywork Savior in the live chat. Did you say Fast Fusion doesn't have online multiplayer? It does not. It has online game share and split screen, but it doesn't have like an online competitive, like you and I can race against each other in like a lobby kind of gameplay. To my knowledge, on the menu there anyway.
Right, yeah.
But no, I would say, skip out on Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Skip out on it.
If Lando said it best, the review is, I'm bored. The Trip can complain. So that's the review there. You had 2 questions written on here. Is Lando glad to have this? And I think I answered that. And am I glad to have this? And I feel like I answered that as well. But you also had say cheese on the questions that you had written down here. And then the final game on this list, and we'll kind of dive into everything I thought about that here a little bit later on in the show, is just kind of a little preview for the video review that we're going to have come out on Friday. Mario Kart World, spent about 20 hours in it. This is an S tier game. It is so good, but I want to dive into that a little bit later on in the episode because we have a little bit of breaking news for something that got revealed earlier today. And for those of you who are Splatoon fans, we had a research report that went live. Mm-hmm.
Before that.
Oh, shoot. Hang on. Let me pause this. Yeah?
before that, real quick. We got, No Man's Sky got announced the day after.
Mm-hmm.
After our show, the day before the launch, No Man's Sky, if you get the game on Switch, you get a free upgrade on Switch 2. They also revealed that they had like their dev kit in like basically what was essentially like almost like a small closet area.
Mm-hmm.
Small room, and they've been working on it for a year. So they had dev kits for a year. Yeah, which is pretty wild.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised like more people didn't like leak it out then.
Mm-hmm. I'm proud of all the developers for keeping it a secret, but they probably were threatened with lots of litigation. we'll just say that.
Right. Never work in the games industry again.
Mm-hmm. You ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. So we had a surprise announcement this morning on the Nintendo Today app super early. I think it was like at 5 a.m. West Coast time. So like 8 a.m. our time.
8 a.m. or something.
And it came out on the Nintendo Today app. And then like an hour later, it came out on YouTube and on Twitter, a special presentation of the a Splatoon announcement.
Video, yeah.
It is a long video, but the video opens up with Shiver, Fry, and Big Man in the back of a helicopter flying into the middle of a hurricane for some ungodly reason. And what got revealed was a trailer for a new game that they're classifying as a spin-off title. Chris, what is the spin-off title? What does the rest of this trailer entail? What are you thinking about it?
What is a spin-off title in general?
No,
or
what is
do
this
I think?
spin-off title? What is it?
So it is Raiders, right? And so it is Splatoon Raiders. It looks almost like you have like a base, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the island to go, and I think, like you said, you think it was we had talked about it, and based on the stuff that you see around, it looks like you're gonna like foil like like trees and things that you I don't know if you're gonna be able to like knock stuff down, and since you're not gonna carry it like back in a basket, you have that walking mech sort of thing with you, and I feel like that's gonna carry all of your stuff that you gather to help build up your base.
Right.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I do. I also think it's a bit of a survival game. They don't really give you a whole lot in this teaser about what you're about to face in Splatoon Raiders. But it was super interesting. They're saying it's exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. I have a few questions kind of regarding it, and the first thing is we kind of answered what we think this game is going to be. We think it's going to be a survival game. The next question that I have, though, is when do you think that Splatoon Raiders is going to be released? Because we have kind of a full slate, almost a completely packed slate on a month-to-month basis from Nintendo already. Do you think this is going to be a 2025 game or a 2026 game or even beyond that?
Yeah, I feel like if it was a 2025 game, they would have mentioned that. They would have been like, listen, yeah, come and get more later, or get more information later, but it's definitely coming out in 2025. The fact that they were like, they didn't give a date and just said more information later makes me think that this is a 2026 game, but I could see it being I'm going to say a January 2026 game.
So that's kind of where I'm landing with it too, is because right now the big stuff that we have on the docket, obviously you've got DK Bonanza that's happening next month. After that, it is what is it? Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. After that is Kirby and the Rainbow Star, I think is the subtitle for that. Then we've got Pokemon Legends Z to A. Following that, we've got Metroid Prime, which we don't exactly know when to expect. I was leaning toward that being the October game, but with Pokemon Legends ZA coming out in October, I think we may actually be more likely to see that during November, December area, and kind of helping drive holiday season sales of the console even more, if they even have stock for that. But, who knows Nintendo's mindset. I'm kind of with you. I think January 2026, but granted, that feels like this marketing cycle is really, really early for that. Like, why would they mention this game so early? And granted, they've talked about games super early before. It's never really worked out in their favor, i.e. Metroid Prime 4. But Splatoon's not one that really does that. Typically, it's like 3 or 4 month marketing cycle for like the early tease, then the global test fire, and then the actual game comes out, and it's a pretty quick churn out. And they also have like a much more limited time frame on when they put these out. there's a part of me that's like, it's hard to believe that could be a January game instead of an August September style game. It feels like an August September style game, less so than a post holiday season game.
Right. Yeah, that's true, but I think it'll be out before the end of March, before April 1st.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's no way they would announce it near a full year in the future. Like there's no way, right?
Right. Yeah, unless it's Bayonetta.
Well, that's also fair. But again, that's Platinum Games, right? Like that's Platinum Games developed, rather than like Nintendo. Who is this? R&D does this one. EAD. I'm not sure. So, yeah. Not sure which team it is that does this one, but that wasn't the only thing that was announced. But I do kind of want to focus on this part of it for a little bit still yet here. How do you feel about Splatoon getting spin-off games instead of it just being DLC baked into a pre-existing game that they have?
Well, that was one of the things I was going to bring up, is like, I feel like since it is a spin-off game, they must have a lot more to add to this game rather than just hold it back and be like, you know what, we're going to release Splatoon 4 and then this will be the DLC for it. So I feel like there's more to it that they feel the need to release it on its own. They did say like you're going to be doing something with your mechanic, right? And
yeah,
you're working with the trio, but it doesn't say anything about multiplayer.
No. I think this is a full single player experience.
Yeah.
Something similar to like the story modes or Octo expansions or what was the one, the title, the side order. I don't know if, I think the large reason that they're not doing it as a DLC for any of the pre-existing games is because of the survival mechanic. Because I think you're going to be, it reminded me of Raft. Like it felt like Raft from what they were showing with the big right. lifeboat and the going on the island and getting supplies and coming back and having the big mech. And I think with that building mechanic, that's something that's not already pre-existing in the architecture of Splatoon, 2 or 3 or any of the previous ones. So right. I think there's a reason for that to have to do the spin-off title. I feel like yeah, Go ahead. I think it's weird that they're doing spin-off titles, but it doesn't make me mad. It doesn't make me mad. Nintendo's always kind of been of the mindset that they're kind of like the analogy I heard, this was from the Kit and Krista podcast. They talked about how Nintendo's always been kind of like a talent agency, right? So they have an idea of a game that they want, and they go, what characters would fit this vibe? And so then they just jam their characters into it. But it's always been not really they don't call it a spin-off title. They don't call Princess Peach Showtime a spin-off title from the main Mario franchise, right? Like they call it its own title. But they called this an actual spin-off title. And it does make me wonder, like, why that terminology and why not just, hey, this is a new game in the Splatoon franchise, just like they would have called Princess Peach Showtime a new game in the Mario franchise.
And why make it Splatoon Raiders and not just another Dylan's Rolling Western, Yeah,
right?
But also, I think the title is going to have two different meanings, where it's going to be like, it's going to be.
Is this going to be Rust?
Raider, right? It's going to be like Tarkov.
Yes.
I think it's called Raiders because we're like in between rounds of getting attacked by raiders on this island. We're raiding the island to get resources for our base and for ourselves, and there's probably going to be something that we're trying to get to then get help to get off the island, is what I think is going to happen. We might even run into we might even run into people. Some of these survival games also have like automation.
Yeah.
Like you might see some automation in the game. So I feel like we're going to find stuff, maybe even people that we didn't know were out on the island, find them, bring them back to our base, and like kind of upgrade the base to get stuff going that will help us not only carry more stuff while we're out there, but then also do stuff on our runs to
Right.
help us bring stuff back.
Right.
You know.
I'm down for it. I think it's gonna be a good time. You asked me right before we dove into the spin-off game stuff, what do I think about the price? Do I
What do you think the
do we
price
think it's gonna be a $70 game? It would. There's part of me that wants to say no because they're classifying this as a spin-off game rather than like a full-fledged title, the way they've talked about it, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it would have to depend on the breadth of what you're doing in it. Like if it's chunky, if it's meaty, if there's something there that Nintendo believes makes this a $70 game, they're gonna make it a $70 game. Do I think it'll be $80? I hope not. Like I don't think I'll buy it if it's $80. Maybe. Well, I mean, I probably will. We run a Nintendo show. I think I'd have to, but. But I would do it begrudgingly. Let me just say that. But it just it's super interesting and different. And that is exciting because I am kind of done with just like shooty, do the random Splatoon thing every game. I like the Octo expansion. I like the story-based stuff. I like the side order, the roguelike element that they incorporated into it. I thought all of that was super cool. And I'm sure I'll like this too, right? Like this will be something completely different and out of the wheelhouse of regular Splatoon. Survival games aren't necessarily always my jam. We've talked about that before. That's why I didn't get Survival Kids. But I don't know. Like, do you feel like it's going to be a $70 game? I think I'll put a number out and you tell me what you think. I'm going to say 50.
50.
You squeaked when I said it. I was like, oh no.
50 seems reasonable. I mean, they put Sushi Strikers was 50, which is insane. But I think with the fact that they're calling it a spin-off title, almost to me, here's the thing, either they feel it's good enough to call it a spin-off that they're like, hey, we might have Splatoon Raiders 2, Splatoon Raiders 3 in the future, or they're calling it a spin-off title like they think it's like a smaller miniature game. So I'm going to go with 40. I'm going, $40. I think the more money in my head, the more money it costs, the more meat there is on the bones, but we'll have to wait and see.
Like Modern Warfare is a spin-off of Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I just don't see them charging less than 50 these days. The fact that they charged 80 out the gate for Mario Kart World makes me go, yeah, this is going to be a $50 game. This is absolutely going to be a $50 game. That's just my personal opinion, and I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong.
Legends was going to be 80. So
I did, and I'm surprised.
We'll have to wait and see.
I lived surprised and corrected, so look at me go. Look at me go being wrong. I also said Metroid Prime 4 was coming out in October.
Yeah. It could.
Susie says, if 50 seems reasonable, then it'll definitely be at least 60, and she's probably not wrong. Realistically, it'll be a $60 game. It's not a full price game. It's $10 cheaper than our regular full price games.
Yeah. And no matter the price, you will get 0% gold coins.
Yep. Does it excite you? Does this excite you? Is it something you're like super stoked about and interested in?
Yeah, especially if it's a survival game. I actually like survival games more.
Why not 70 big numbers, says Mnemonic Man?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, it'll be at least 70 to 100 after you get the Raiders Splatoon amiibo, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Splatoon Raider amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be the only way you can fast travel. It'll be great. It'll be like Skyward Sword.
Yep. I don't know. Like
Are you excited for this or no?
I'm mixed because I don't love survival games. I love Splatoon, but I don't love survival games. I will absolutely try this. I will absolutely 100% try this, and I might really enjoy it.
What about that Pokemon ripoff game you got?
Which one was that?
Pal World.
Oh, Pal World, you got that one too. Pal World, I kind of liked, but I invested just enough time into it to where I like pulled out of it really quickly. And the Monster Collection was what I really wanted to do in it, and it really wasn't as linear as I thought it was going to be. So like,
you have to do a lot more survival bits before you can get that. Yeah.
Yep. This wasn't the only thing they announced though in this, and they also announced a update coming to Splatoon 3. This is going to be version 10.0.0. New weapons coming out from two different weapons manufacturers in the world of Splatoon. 30 of them, actually. And then they're also doing a return of the Urchin Underpass map from Splatoon 1. And then to follow that up, it's getting a upgrade to make the resolution and the textures and the frame rate run well. And this is all free. This came with the announcement that it's happening in 2 days. So the 12th of June, it's going to be available on Nintendo Switch 2. If you have Splatoon 3, you get the upgraded textures, the upgraded features, all the new weapons that are getting added, and they raise the max freshness cap in this game too. Are you in any way looking forward to the updates coming to Splatoon 3? Because I know that you like Splatoon, so much so that you've got it inked, pun intended, on your leg. But that being said, is this upgrade something that gets you excited? Is that going to pull you back into the world of Splatoon 3 when you snag your Switch 2?
Yeah, I will definitely get back in. You know what is funny? I was talking to, like, when this got announced, I sent it to you and then I sent it to Mel, and she was like, you know what? Funnily enough, I actually already have Splatoon 3 downloaded on my Switch too. So she is ready. And I'm ready. I'm ready too. I'm ready to dive back into Splatoon. Here's the thing. Every time they would have like the new book, the new season, I would be like, this is the time where I max it all out. I get into a game and I see somebody have like 3 outfit, the headgear, the body, and the shoes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they're
with the
all,
amiibos.
or just the clothing in the game without the amiibo. Just they have all 3 and they're like maxed out. They're fully maxed out. So
you're talking about the little upgrades for swim speed
badges or whatever they go on to. Yeah, and they have them all maxed out to like swim speed, right? And but all 3 of them are maxed out to max swim speed, and they just like fly around in there. And I'm always like, when this season comes out, this is going to be the only game I play, and then I play for like a day. And I'm like, this is taking too long. And then just, I have a hard time getting back into it. But I was really into 2. Well, I was really into 1, really into 2. Still quite a bit into 3 when it first came out, but not as much as I was into 2.
Right.
But those are some of my most played games on that dang thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I've probably played quite a lot of those games just in general, especially with the community. They were one of the best games to be able to play with other people, and it got a lot. It's, believe it or not, that is the best-selling game globally that system really has. One of the best-selling games globally, beyond Mario Kart, right? So it's Mario Kart, and then probably Splatoon in terms of multiplayer games.
Yeah. So Splatoon is really popular.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm excited about it. I don't know that it's going to drag me back in quite the way that that a new Splatoon would have, right? It's cool to get the upgrades, and I want to try it out.
Right.
I want to play some with some other people who maybe have Switch 2, and it is crossplay between Switch 1 and Switch 2. It's effectively the same game. It's just if you're playing on Switch 2, you're going to have better frame rate.
Which I thought that was funny that they mentioned that, but it's not getting a Switch 2 upgrade. So if it's
Mhm.
not getting a Switch 2 upgrade, you would think, why wouldn't it work?
Yep.
No matter though.
That is super
But
weird. That is
30
super
new
weird.
weapons, and they're bringing back an old course
Mm-hmm.
from Splatoon 1.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Let me ask you, did you just want Splatoon 4? I'll tell you my answer is yeah. I just wanted Splatoon 4.
yeah. Here's what I think. Of course I want Splatoon 4, but I think with this just randomly coming, like the week after, it almost makes me feel like we're going to get more Switch 1, Switch 2 patches.
Yeah.
And they're just going to slowly just trickle them out through between now and next year.
Yep. I would agree with that. I'm fine with that. Like, make my old games I already own run better. I'm totally fine with
Right.
that. But it just makes me wish that we were getting Splatoon 4, and it kind of curbs any hopes I feel like of seeing Splatoon 4 for, the next year and a half maybe. And that's one of the
At
cool
least.
things about, like, it felt like I was getting a Splatoon every 3 years, and in essence that's kind of what's happened. Is like we've gotten a new Splatoon every 3 years, and I don't know that we'll be seeing that same cycle with Splatoon 3 to Splatoon 4. I really wanted that. In terms of when I say it's going to happen, yeah, a year and a half, 2 years maybe, before we see Splatoon 4. It does kind of make me,
2 years from now.
yeah, it does kind of make me upset in some ways, because the same team that works on that is the team that works on Animal Crossing, and is that all they've been working on is Splatoon Raiders instead of Animal Crossing, whatever subtitle you want to assign for the Switch 2. I want a new Animal Crossing, please, dear God, just give me a new Animal Crossing, it'd be great. And the final thing I have here in this topic is, how do you feel on the chances of getting a Switch Direct this month, a June Direct? Because typically Nintendo's done a June Direct right around the time Summer Games Fest.
Yeah. For the last, what was it, like 6 years or something, we've had a Direct in June. I don't think this hurts the chances of it. I think, if anything, this could change what it is, and it's instead of being the like a Nintendo Direct, it might be like an Indie World,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Or a partner showcase. Especially with Summer
Yeah.
Games Fest just finishing up and everybody's gotten to do their original teases. Well, what if Nintendo comes out and says, hey, here's a partner showcase. This is everything that was announced at Summer Games Fest that's now coming to Nintendo Switch 2 that they didn't put in their trailers,
Right.
So I think it could
Yeah.
happen. I think that could happen. I'm 100% about that.
Okay, yeah. So since 2027,
Mhm.
they had a Nintendo Direct
2027.
or 2017.
Okay,
So
I was like, well, hold up.
That's what I meant. They had one in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021. They skipped 2020 because,
Yeah.
2022, 2023, 2024. So they had them. 2021 was in June 15th. The 22 was June 28th. 23 was June 21st. And 2024 was June 18th. So it's usually in the second half of June, which would make sense because I do think it's going to be closer to Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Like, so then they can show off more information about that. Which although I do think they will still go ahead and release their what's it called as well, still going to release their, like, a trailer, or they're like the, game breakdown or whatever, overview, whatever they call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I don't know, man. I don't really see us getting a June Direct personally. I don't think we'll get a partner direct. I don't think we'll get a indie world. I think they're just going to skip out on June. But we're in a very unpredictable time for Nintendo. I mean, if you look back at the direct they did for the Switch 2, and then they went, also here in 5 more days, we're going to do another direct for Mario Kart World. They did 2 directs back to back. Nintendo is unpredictable right now. Like they just because they've done it this way for the past 7 years, there's no way to predict exactly what they're doing now. And I like that because that kind of incorporates the whole surprise and delight kind of motto that Nintendo's had, where I am being surprised by, oh, well, now it's a July direct instead of a June direct, or maybe we just don't get one and they just keep shadow dropping information in the Nintendo Today app. It's just,
right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Also, this might not mean anything. It could mean nothing, and they could be like, we'll have more information later, and they could just show it at the direct.
Yeah.
Because 11 years ago today, Splatoon for the Wii U was revealed. So Splatoon was revealed 11 years ago today for the first time ever on June 10th. So maybe that's why they announced Splatoon Raiders on
It's a big
June
possibility.
10th.
It's a big possibility. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong at all. Well, that's it for the Splatoon news. And
thank you to Sierra for giving me that heads up about that.
Yeah, thanks, Sierra.
Fact.
Thanks, Sierra. Mario Kart World. I said we wanted to talk about it a little bit later in the episode. We are going to have a review video up on Friday for Mario Kart World. I've spent approximately 20-something hours in it so far. I've still got a couple of things I need to unlock before I can officially say, okay, the review is done. But I do want to jump into a couple of things and not spoil the review. But just to let you know, the game is really, really good. And if you haven't had the chance to play it, you should play it. You should play it. I'm going to give you a rundown of the likes and the dislikes. And then if you have any questions, hit me with it right after that. Cool, Chris?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, gotcha.
I love the controls. Controls very smooth. The art direction on this game is absolutely amazing. I love the character artwork and the environment artwork. The racing action is just chaotic, crazy fun. The interconnected world is really, really massive. And I love the racing from course to course in between the like interstitial races that they do. The courses themselves are way better this go around. If you watched our tier list that we did prior, talking about all the original courses in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the DLC courses as well, you'll note that we kind of said they were a little bit sterile. These all feel like they have life to them. The costumes are so good. I love Vampire and I love Soft Server Toadette, and I will defend them with my life. Knockout Tour is probably my favorite mode out of everything that they've done there. And then the game chat camera usage is actually super fun. Like, is it $50, $60 for the actual game chat camera itself from Nintendo? Fun? No, it's not. It's not that fun. But the fact is, I have it. I have it. It's pointless. It's still super fun, and it's cool to see my friends' faces race by as, they happily shoot me with a green shell, or watch them get frustrated as I shoot them with a green shell. It's super cool because you see them on the screen as you're playing. As far as dislikes, I would say the open world's a little sparse on things to do. Character selection screen is abysmal. The fashion hunt sucked super, super bad. Unlocking characters is way too random, so there are a lot of NPC characters, and you unlock them through Kamek wand usage. It's an item. If you're the one who uses it, though, you don't get transformed, so you don't unlock the character, so you have to rely on other players or other computer-controlled players to unlock them for you, so it's really random.
So could you play a match with friends, and then you all make it so that that's the only item?
Nope. You can't.
What?
You can't select the items that you want. You have to set it to frantic items, and then it
just
gives
hope
it from
that
a
you get
pool of items, and you hope that you get it.
Okay.
And then bring back Shine Thief to the battle modes. Bring back Shine Thief to the battle modes.
Okay. Bring it back.
Because
Listen, I'm
all you've got
stopping.
is balloon battle and coin runners. You don't have Shine
Oh,
Thief. You
right.
don't have cops and robbers.
Cops and Robbers. I really like.
Yeah, I love that. I love that mode too. Keyword Savior in the live chat says, "Stop treating unlocks as work." People keep complaining about treating unlocks as work. Here's what I will say on that topic: is I understand Nintendo's intention is for you to have that sense of, and I'm gonna ruin a little bit of the review, is that you have that sense of discovery, and it's kind of cool when you get something. But myself as a player and as a person, when it's cosmetics and it's an unlock and it's a character on the character selection screen, I want to have as many of the characters there as I possibly can right from the start. So that way I have them all. And the characters and the costumes are something that I desperately wanted to have because they show up as their own individual character on the character select screen. And it is a chore because it's tedious. Going around to the proper regional spaces and eating the proper boost foods is a little bit problematic because you don't know what you need to do. And you don't know where you need to go to be able to get those. And unless you follow a spreadsheet or a chart, you're not going to know if you're exactly missing one or which one you're missing or how to get it. And I like the discoverability in games, but when it comes to a cosmetic, make that something that either I can just buy with the gold coins at that point, so that way I can clear all of that up, or have them already unlocked from the start, because costumes are costumes. They don't change the game that much. It just makes your character look cool. But final thoughts, I love this game. I still have to unlock mirror mode, and once I do that, I feel like I can reveal the score, but I have a score in mind. It's extremely high, but honestly, this may be the best entry in the Mario Kart franchise that we've ever had.
6.5.
Out of 5.
Yeah. I was trying to think of questions. Do you have like a new favorite course? Like of the new courses, which one do you think you like the most?
Rainbow Road, and it is an unlocked course. You have to unlock it by racing all of the Grand Prix to unlock the final cup, and you just have to finish the Grand Prix. And once you unlock the final cup, Rainbow Road is a near spiritual experience in this game. It is my favorite Rainbow Road that has ever existed, and beyond that, it is the most beautiful Rainbow Road that has ever existed. It isn't super narrow, so you're not constantly falling off the map while you're trying to race against people. Just so good. And then my second one, the secondary one, that's one that everybody would have unlocked straight from the start, that everybody should go play, is Faraway Oasis. It's got giraffes, which are basically just tall goats, and that's my spirit animal. So I recommend Rainbow Road and then Faraway Oasis, and then Question Block Ruins. Question Block Ruins is super cool.
Okay. I like what was the one Boo
Boo Cinema. Boo Cinema.
Yeah, Boo Cinema.
Boo Cinema is super cool too. All of them are so good. There's not a single course in this game that I dislike. Unlike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where there were a lot of courses in that game that I disliked.
Yeah, so I like the way they look. Like just what about the racers? How's it feel?
How does it feel to race it? Inertia plays a huge part in this game. Inertia plays a huge part in this game, where how you get hit by items, if you're hit at a specific angle, or if you're going at a specific speed, or it'll change how you fall when you get hit by those things. Instead of having the standard, because when you got hit by a blue shell in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you kind of knew how long you were going to be down and out. But in this game, there's a little bit of randomness there, and you may not lose any speed after getting hit by a green shell. I remember I was racing against a friend of mine, Team Wildwood, and I hit him 3 times with green shells, and I still could not catch him. I just wasn't hitting him at the right angle to get his cart to stop, and that was such a cool experience. Even from like a side of that where I felt like I was getting hosed, like it was still cool because I know that's going to happen to other players against me too. So it felt super fair. The rail grinding in this game is super cool. The wall jumping in this game is super cool. There's so much fluidity to the controls. Like I love this.
It just, there's a lot going on with like the open world, the photo mode. Did you do any of that?
I didn't do any photo mode, and I totally forgot about it. And I meant to do it on launch day with everybody because we had so many people come in and play with us. At the time, I meant to get a photo on launch day, and maybe I'll just make everybody get together again. Not that it's going to be that hard, like everybody's going to want to get together again, but make everybody get together again. We're going to go find that Super Mario Kart billboard. We're just going to go sit in front of it with our respective costume and racer. That'd be super cool to have as a souvenir.
24 people together and get 24 people together in a photo mode, and everyone's a cow.
Yes, 100%. Cow is life. But no, we'll have the full video review up come Friday. Most likely, I'm trying to aim for around noon to have it ready and out for everybody to be able to read and see. Check out our website and at NintendoRewind.com, and check our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@the-Nintendo-Rewind. Chris, you got anything else you want to add to this big main topic we've had? We've been live for 2 hours and 40 minutes, dude.
Yeah, no, nothing else.
All right, well, let's jump into the fast forward here. We got a few games coming your way. Chris will let you know what they are right after this jump. Let them know, Chris. Let them know what they are.
Listen, I'd love to let you know. Number 1, coming out on the 16th. So 5 days from now, we got the Gex trilogy. Everyone's been waiting for it. Everyone's been hankering for it. Gex is here. Limited Run Games is bringing it out. It's one of their Carbon Engine games, which I played Tomba, which was a Carbon Engine game. Did you play any of their Carbon Engine games?
I played Trip World. Trip World was a Carbon Engine game. Yeah. I love Trip World. I've speed ran Trip World. I'm actually the world record holder in the Trip World DX release for the speed run on that game.
That's awesome. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Carbon Engine, what they did with Tomba, and then they got Tomba 2 coming out. The one I wanted to play but didn't was that GBA game. But in terms of this one here is the Gex trilogy. Did you ever play Gex?
I played Gex Gecko Undercover, which I believe is the 3rd one in this series. I didn't play any of the side-scroller ones.
I think so, yeah.
I wasn't aware that there was a side-scroller one, but I played Gex Gecko Undercover. I think it was a PS1 era game, right? Yeah, it was this one that's the screenshot that's being shown right now. I had a good time with it back in the day. I didn't really know that much about it. I had a great time with that game. I will say Gex is extremely mouthy and he talks so much. I remember in the snow area, and I quoted this all the time. I had no concept of what it meant, but it was a Donner Party of 4 when he was like going looking for a table. And now as I've grown older, I'm like, oh, wait, no, I know what that means. Man. But my parents never corrected me. They never said, hey, you should stop saying that.
Well, you know, I mean, this is because, I don't know if you knew this, Jesus was a carpenter, but I've learned, so in terms of this, it's $29.99. It comes out on June 16th. I'm not getting it, but better Gex than Bubsy, I always say.
Better Gex than Bubsy.
Okay, so the next game is Lost in Random, the Eternal Die. Did you play the original Lost in Random?
No, I haven't touched this series at all. It does strike me as one I would be interested. Oh gosh, don't oh gosh me. Like it's listen, I only have time for so many games, and mostly it's Mario.
I just goshed you. Okay, so
This
this
looks like Hades.
yeah, it pretty much is Hades. So I got a code to play it on Steam. I've been playing it on Steam. I played the demo on it was like a Steam Next Fest demo on the Steam Deck, and love this game. I mean, anytime you know what, you give me a roguelike or roguelite in this case, I will play it. In terms of Lost in Random, I really like that too, because you have that like die with you, and you kind of like throw it down. You can throw it down, and then based on what die you get, like it'll either help or hinder you. It's pretty cool. But then this was one of those like EA games that where they published it. They wanted to publish indie games. Like that's where like It Takes Two and Split Fiction came from.
Mhm.
But what happened was they made Lost in Random, and then I believe the team got bought by Thunderful, I think is what happened. And then
Love Thunderful. Shout out to Thunderful.
Shout out to Thunderful.
Good publishing company. Been really kind to me as a streamer. I got Curse to Golf from them. Was one of the first games in Swordship. Really, really good. Really, really good publishing team.
But yeah, it's really good game. I'm only speaking from playing the demo, the Steam Nexus demo, but I loved the original Lost in Random. Love that game. It kind of like almost gives like the original Lost in Random. It kind of like gives like Psychonauts meets what was the name of that? The one with that little girl that
It feels very Coraline in the art style,
yes.
like Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, it kind of. Well, it kind of gives me Henry Selick, sort of vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Thunderful is the publisher for this game too, so.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
I thought it was oh yeah, no, they are the publisher. It was Storm.
Yep, developer Storm Teller Games.
And Storm Teller Games, they didn't make the original Lost in Random. It's like Thunderful, they got like a different studio to make this one, is what happened. Because Thunderful got into publishing, and they, I think there was like the Lost in Random developers, they're like working on it. They like kind of like split up, right?
Mhm.
And so not all of them are there, and so some of the that's what it was. It was Zoink. Remember Zoink?
I don't remember Zoink. I feel like I haven't played as many indie games as you. There's a reason you're here as the co-host. I play the Nintendo stuff.
Right, yeah.
You keep me up to date on all the indie stuff that I need to play.
So Zoink did like Flipping Death. I don't know if you played that, but yeah, Flipping Death is pretty good. You're death, and you kind of like flip back and forth between being dead and being alive. Like you like will see the world from as a ghost, and then you can kind of like possess somebody's body and then like be in the real world, and so you kind of like have to jump back and forth. It's pretty good. It came out in 2018, but then they ended up making Lost in Random, and then the CEO of Zoink, once Thunderful bought them, he left Thunderful to create his own studio, and they're making a different game, but because Centerfold bought Zoink, they had the rights to Lost at Random, so they got that studio, the studio making the game. They ended up getting them to make it. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, I am looking forward to being able to play more of it and then talk about it once it comes out.
Absolutely.
But for anyone that does think maybe that does sound interesting, it is Game Pass as well. Day one Game Pass, so you can check that out there. Okay, so in terms of the other game, Date Everything. Oh wait, did I say that was $24.99?
Yes, you did.
June 17th?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You covered the bases, baby.
Date everything. Okay. Don't date nothing. Date it all.
Don't date nothing, date it all.
Yeah. So basically, this is you're in this house, and like every inanimate object in the house is a person, and like the microwave or the fridge or the cupboard, everything in the house, and you can date the toilet. You can date it all. The hamper of your dirty clothes. Yeah, everything is something that you can date, and you just go around and date it all.
This reminds me of that time that dude, he was on, I don't know if it was My Strange Addiction, but he was dating his car. And
oh gosh, yeah,
and then he had a car accident and he had to put it down. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this game.
You're not sure?
A little mixed on it. We saw this game. The last we saw of it was during a partner showcase that Nintendo had done. I think, or maybe it was an Indie World showcase. I'm not really
I think
positive.
it might have been like an Indie World, yeah.
But it like, I like the idea of dating sims. I think they're super funny, and I think this is a really unique concept. Where obviously, like Chris was saying, like everything has a persona that you can date. You see the Felix the cat clock on the wall. Guess what? Date it. But it's one of those things where, if it goes on like Supercell, maybe I would be interested in trying it out. But these games, this style of game never goes on a decent sale. Like, it's always so expensive.
Right, yeah.
Instructions unclear, redacted, stuck in toaster. Yep.
Yeah. I put in a request for a code for this, so we'll see if it happens.
That's amazing. How much is this? When's it come out?
You know what? I'm glad you asked. It's actually $29.99, but for now it's on sale for $26.99.
Save a whole $3, baby.
On the 17th.
Woo. Save 10%. Let's put it that way. Let's church it up a little bit. Interesting game. Weird game. We are going to go into, we do have a couple more segments still left of this extremely long episode of Nintendo Rewind.
How's this longer than the buyer's guide?
I have no clue. Well, we had a lot to talk about. We really did. But this next segment, before we throw it to the extra Nintendo news and the outro, we have a new game show segment. It's called Pixel Minute, or Pixmin for short. In this segment of the show, my friend Chris, my good friend Chris, aka Super Nintendo Dad, must guess the exact title of a game that is slowly revealing itself. It's highly pixelated. It'll slowly reveal itself over 60 seconds. This game was, in fact, released this week in Nintendo history. If Chris does not guess it before the song runs out, he gets 0 points. Big old goose egg. But if he does guess it, the faster he guesses it, the more points he gets. Chris, are you ready? Can you see my cam?
I see. I don't see anything pixelated yet.
Well, it hasn't started yet. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right, let's go, baby.
Okay. Mega Man.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Splatoon. No. Kirby? Is that Kirby?
Nope.
Is that a Pikmin?
Nope.
Is that Smash Brothers?
Nope.
What the heck is it then? Well, what do you want me to do about it? Is it Xenoblade Chronicles?
Great job, Christopher. It is, in fact, Xenoblade Chronicles. You get an additional 39 points added to your total. It is Xenoblade Chronicles, released for the Nintendo Wii. This is in the widescreen format that you could do on Nintendo Wii. What was your first experience with Xenoblade Chronicles? Did you get it on the Wii?
I got it on day one.
A little bit of history there. This was a GameStop exclusive for a good time. And then at GameStop, they penny out video games. And what they do with those penny out video games is they destroy them. And so the only ones that were still in existence, because this was a GameStop exclusive, were ones that were already previously bought. So when people would trade that game in after they were done with it, the price skyrocketed from a $60 video game to upwards of $90 or more. That game, super phenomenal, super good. And now you can get it on 3DS. You can get it on Nintendo Switch.
New 3DS.
Yes, new Nintendo 3DS, because it
Please.
needs the joystick, the little
Exclusive.
thumb nub. No, look, I'm sorry, my bad. But congratulations, get another 39 points added to your point total. Good job, Christopher. You got
Thank you very
You're
much.
getting much better at this game here lately. You're getting much better
Yeah.
at this game. I don't feel like I'm giving you layups either. That was a difficult game. We are going to go to the extra Nintendo news and into the outro. There's quite a bit of it. There are tons of Mario Kart World themed digital items available for redemption in the My Nintendo Platinum Points store. 2 new wallpapers for 50 Platinum Points, a printable pop-up card for 30 Platinum Points, printable party flags for 30 Platinum Points, and printable cupcake toppers also for 30 Platinum Points.
Cake toppers.
Yeah, you get some Mario Kart World cupcake toppers. But there's also a new GameCube Classics wallpaper for 50 Platinum Points, as well as a 10 years of Splatoon wallpaper for
We
free.
need those.
We do need those. My son is having his birthday party on the 6th of July, and he wants it to be Mario themed. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that for that little 6-year-old boy. In terms of sweepstakes, you can win a Game Truck Switch 2 Party Prize by entering it. 10 Platinum Points per entry, up to 5 entries. Mario Series NSO icons have rotated yet again for the Play and Redeem set. Splatoon icons will rotate tomorrow, the first wave. Second wave ends tonight on the 10th, and the new wave starts tomorrow on the 11th. But last week we had a bit of a surprise on launch day for the Nintendo Switch 2. There was Mario Kart World icons that hit the system. You don't need a Switch 2 to claim them. So you can get them even if you're a Switch 1 owner, so that way you can use them when you do get your Nintendo Switch 2, or right now on your Switch 1. But the first wave ends tonight, and wave 2 starts on the 11th as well. As a reminder, the monthly Play and Redeem set of icons are Legend of Zelda 1 and 2. Skybound Games launched their sale this week with discounts up to 60% off. Games like Telltale's The Walking Dead, Thief of Thieves, and WrestleQuest headline this sale. There's nothing new on the Nintendo Music front at time of recording. Mm-hmm.
And No Man's Sky is on sale for another 6 days. So
$24.99. $24.99, and it's a free upgrade.
You get the free upgrade to the Switch 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nothing new on the Nintendo Music front of news, but Nintendo has announced a Mario Kart World Invitational Tournament happening at the newly announced Nintendo Live 2025 Tokyo event. That's happening October 4th and 5th. So stay tuned for more news on that. They usually
we'll be reporting live from there.
No, what lies. They usually do.
No, it's listening. It's
Stop it.
12:30.
Stop talking.
Right.
You're not helping. But they usually do like a symphony orchestra kind of presentation during those things that they upload to YouTube for free. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm very excited if they do that. Miyamoto did take to X to announce that the live-action Legend of Zelda movie will be delayed to May 7th, 2027, stating that they will, quote, take extra time to make the film as good as it can be. Of note, you can also mix and match Switch 1 and 2 Joy-Con controllers as pairs. Didn't really realize that, but that's kind of a cool feature. And then on a little bit of sadder news that's a little frustrating, Samantha Kelly, the voice of Princess Peach and Toad, took to Instagram this week to announce that she was replaced by Nintendo as the voice of the iconic monarch and citizen of the Mushroom Kingdom. While we don't know the voice actress for the princess currently, she stated, "Thank you for so many years of friendship and joy. I'm sad that it's over. I truly would have wanted to voice Peach and Toad forever. Nintendo let me know yesterday," for her at that time it was June 5th, "that they decided to recast these roles. I'm grateful that I got to do these voices for so many years. Peach and Toad are such strong and beautiful characters that I pray they live on forever no matter who voices them. So much love." It also appears that Takashi Nagasako is no longer voicing Donkey Kong after 20 years either. And the voice actor that they got to portray Donkey Kong is the Japanese voice actor for Donkey Kong in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The reason I'm a little frustrated by that news is because they let her know on the day Mario Kart World was coming out. And they didn't let her know before that her voice was not going to be used in that game. So she is not the voice actress for Princess Peach and Toad in Mario Kart World and had no clue. Finally, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade nabbed a winter release window for Nintendo Switch 2. One final note I wanted to throw into here. The launch day top 10 games for Nintendo Switch 2, which I thought was interesting. Mario Kart World takes the number 1 spot, followed by Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's Upgrade Pack at number 2. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour at number 3. Deltarune at number 4. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition at number 5. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Upgrade Pack at number 6. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster at number 7. Fantasy Life V The Girl Who Steals Time at number 8. Street Fighter 6 Years 1, 2 Fighters Edition at number 9. And number 10, Fast Fusion, making the top 10 list for sales on launch day. So check out those games. There's a lot of good stuff that's out there, and I've had my chance to play a lot of those, most of those, but you need to go check those out for yourself and let us know what you thought about them. If you've been watching on YouTube, make sure that you leave a like, leave a comment saying, "Hey, I was here." What's your favorite game that you played on Switch launch day? How do you feel about mouse controls? And make sure that you stay locked in over on our YouTube channel for the video review of Mario Kart World. You can catch all of our past episodes in video form on YouTube at youtube.com/@the-Nintendo Rewind. Visit our site for links to all of our social media channels at nintendorewind.com and consider supporting the show. Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me giving you the breaking news on Chris at Super Nintendo on pretty much everything.
Chris at Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Before we go, in case Susie's still here, the breaking news was Nintendo Switch 2 sold 3.5 million units in 4 days. And it's the fastest selling system ever.
Of all time.
It took 4 weeks for the PS5 to sell 3.4 million units. So there's that. And that was in 4 days. So yeah. Where can people find you? You
can find me over at Nerdwire Plays, on Twitch, on Threads, on YouTube, wherever you look at social media stuff. Fortnite. You can probably find me, on Fortnite. Or you can just go to my website,
your name there.
nerdwireplays.com. You can find me. It's actually just Nerdwire and Fortnite. But thank you guys so much for watching. You can catch us live weekly every week. 9:30, I am playing. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love your faces. Remember, please be kind and rewind, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. So long, peace. See ya. Toodaloo.